gonna take.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play. We ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep. Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting. Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Found guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day. They know we ain't gonna play, boy, it's UGA. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut up
tape.
and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape. Shut up and grind. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network and welcome in to game week. It is game week all around college football, and I'm going to tell you what, if you thought week 0 delivered the good vibrations, you just wait until this Saturday, okay? You thought Farmergeddon was good? Wait till you get a load of this slate this weekend. Do me a favor, okay? Do me a favor right quick. Go across the pond over there to Europe, grab one of them football-loving lads, bring them over here, introduce them to what real football looks like in week 1. Bless their souls with what it is looking right here down our pipes on a Saturday afternoon live in college football. All right, here, because it is great stuff. I'm talking about South Carolina versus Virginia Tech this weekend. I'm talking about Syracuse versus Tennessee this weekend. I'm talking about Miami versus Notre Dame this weekend. I'm talking about Alabama going down to Florida State this weekend.
Talk to me.
I'm talking about Clemson hosting the LSU Tigers.
Give it to me.
I'm talking about them Ohio State Buckeyes playing host to them Texas Longhorns. I'm talking about the greatest week 1 slate we've ever seen in our lifetime, boys. Are you juiced or what?
The greatest. Am I juiced? In a lifetime? Buddy.
I mean, could you imagine thinking that sport where you kick a soccer ball around connotes football? No. This right here, this is how you ball, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you ball.
Facts.
Week 1 right here. I can't be more excited about it. I can't be more excited to be back with you live on a Monday, fresh off a Sunday reaction show. Thank you for showing up for that one. If you didn't, we'll see you again Sunday at noon this weekend. We got a loaded one for you. We got Guess the Lines returning tonight as we have college football arriving this weekend. We've got film study notes to hit on for you guys because Lord knows we haven't been pumping out enough film studies, so we're going to talk one up for you guys. We got a 5-star quarterback to talk about tonight. Two of them. One in the national, one in the local. We got a lot of quarterback talk tonight as well. And we've got way too much to talk about for just 1 hour. So that's why we got 2. every single Monday through Thursday. That's why we bring you to right here on the network. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate, and review, and all that good stuff. Boys, before we get into picks, before we get into predictions, before we get into guest alliance, there was some news today, even though it was, I think, news we all forecasted to happen, and that is Bryce Underwood, the 5-star, $10 million quarterback. Some reports saying $12 million quarterback, named the starter for the University of Michigan. The right decision, no?
Yeah, we're at the point of the season now where teams are naming their starting quarterback, and you have to look around like, oh, they hadn't officially named that. I figured we had gone through the entire offseason just talking about how he was going to be the starter, what can he do for this Michigan team. So for Michigan to come out and say, yeah, by the way, he's the starter, kind of not even news to me, honestly. Officially news, but we've all known that.
Is it just me? Maybe it's just like how available information is and how abundant it is with social media and how many people are reporting on different things. But I feel like that there really hasn't been a quarterback battle decision made that didn't go in the direction that we kind of expected it to, other than maybe Notre Dame. But I think that was just partly due to the fact that there was a lot of people hyping up Minchie. I think that we sat here early in the offseason thinking that CJ Carr would be the starter.
We have a totally different tool at our disposal nowadays than we did 5 years ago, and that's we know how much these guys are making, or at least we can project how much we think they're making. I noticed the Super Chub, and we're going to get to it here in a second, but I do want to wrap this on these thoughts on Bryce. No, we know how much this guy's being paid. And here's the deal. Here's the reality nowadays with these quarterbacks, in my opinion. They are doing right by him, and you have to get your lumps out. We talked about this a couple of shows ago about if we're going to pay $12 million over 3 years, right, then years 2 and 3 of this guy's starting career at Michigan, he better be the best version of himself he's ever going to be, which means year 1, when we're paying him $2 million, we better get everything out, all the lumps, all the growing pains, everything up out the system. That way years 2 and year 3, we can really go push our chips in for a national title. But we can't be having a roster that's ready to compete for a national title and an expensive quarterback in year 2 that's not ready to play because he hasn't gone through those growing pains. Now, there's a fine line here, because I think the more we watch quarterbacks and the more we nationally study these quarterbacks, the more I come to learn that scar tissue is a real thing. You can mess these guys up. You can mess up their whole entire projection and trajectory by putting them in front in a bad situation constantly. All right. And guys, we're going to find out if Dante Moore can bounce back, but he's a prime example of that. That is a 5-star quarterback that went out there to UCLA. The parts around him were not good enough. We're not ready for him to be playing. And he goes out there and takes all kinds of lumps and looks like a defeated young man towards the end of that season, and ultimately has to be sat down before transferring to Oregon. You got to be very, very careful starting young football players. Now, with this kid, this is Terrell Pryor. This is Cam Newton. This is going to be one of these special humans that I don't think there is a possibility that you're going to dink or knock his personal confidence. Guys, I've seen clips of this guy, and I've seen film of this guy playing high school safety and competing as a safety because my team needed it today. I've seen clips of this dude being the best wide receiver on a 7-on-7 field. It sounds goofy, but how many 6'5", 240 or 230 pound quarterbacks you see out here in 7-on-7 just being like, oh, I'm a tremendous athlete. I think this is an unshakable football player, but that don't mean he's unbreakable.
You know, this is a bit of a sidebar, but it just kind of got me thinking because you talked about scarring a quarterback. Do you think DJU is an example of this? Because we watched this guy walk in and play Notre Dame, throw for 400-plus yards, look like the next great Clemson quarterback, and then the very next season get ransacked against Georgia in the opener, and then just never felt like he was the same quarterback ever.
I mean, it's a good shout. It's a really good shout. We looked it up today. I mean, he was like 470 yards against Notre Dame in a first career start on the road, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, it is. I think that's more of a cautionary tale than I can point to what broke you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that Clemson offensive line was bad against Georgia, but was it that porous the rest of the year?
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great?
It was not very good.
It's normally that's what it is. It's the guys around. This offensive line is just not good enough to protect you. So we'll see if that can. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I also don't think that they have a coordinator up there or a head coach that's going to allow this to happen. Like, I trust Sharon Moore's run game install as much as anybody I've ever studied on this network. They go have a good or a decent running game. All right. I know that about Michigan football. So maybe they don't have to protect or ask too much of them. I mean, hell, guys, it's a football team that won a national title with 22 pass attempts per game from J.J. McCarthy.
This is true.
Okay, I'll backtrack a little bit. Clemson finished 26th in the country in 2021 for sacks allowed with 21. I believe they got sacked 7 times in the Georgia game alone.
So that might be a DJU thing.
Yeah, it might just be a him thing.
It might just be a him thing. He might have just had one good one.
Yeah.
You know?
It is interesting that signing one of these massively highly touted 5 stars kind of now connotes that their freshman season's kind of a push for you. You just got to be like, all right, hey, look, we're going to have to start this freshman. It's going to be what it'll be, but we need him to be great for the next 2 or 3 years.
I just think it would be malpractice to not play the guy that you're paying 1/10 of your salary to. You just have to.
You know, it's a good point that you bring up, that they're like, you can point to the money and kind of figure out who they're starting, because do you think like 5 years ago that Auburn's piping up a QB battle between what's his name?
Deuce Knight?
No.
Who are you talking about?
The Stanford transfer.
Ashton Daniels?
Ashton Daniels and Jackson Arnold.
For sure.
Like 5 years ago, that probably is a big offseason discussion.
Yeah, who's going to win this battle?
But because the transfer portal and because of money, like, that's no longer a discussion that we have during the offseason.
No, I think you're 100% onto something. I mean, back in the day, dude, like, if I had a 5-star quarterback, he cost some booster $250,000 in cash that got dropped off once. It's not a recurring payment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, every single month you go by not starting a 5-star quarterback nowadays, you are watching a sizable portion of your salary walk out the door and sit on the bench. Mm-hmm. It's malpractice.
Yeah.
Again, it's malpractice. So, like, I'm forecasting right now, Jared Curtis's contract's a little bit different than this one, though. You know what I mean? Like, Jared Curtis is going to make $750 year 1 and then $1.7 year 2. So year 2, he probably going to be playing. You know what I mean? This guy's making what it looks to be $3 million a year. Oh my God! Stop the chat. All right, so we got to start talking about some super chubs right here. Amen, boys? Look at this. I mean, good Lord, it's flying off tonight. Look at you guys. You guys are excited for the start of the college football season. There is no doubt about that. We got some names to go up on the board. Gresham Rohde says, hey, guys, just wanted to support the channel with the football season started. I'm super excited to watch them dogs play. Been watching since the Jamie Newman video. Can't wait for this season. Boy, y'all remember that slow mesh Wake Forest was running on that tape? I'm sitting there watching it going, what is this? 5 years later, it has ransacked the ACC. Wake Forest got a shot every Saturday because somebody don't know how to stop the slow mesh. Appreciate you there, Gresham Rohde. And how about this from Gas Dog MD? MD, I'm assuming, standing for a doctor. Do we got a doc in the chat? Ayo, doc. Game week. Keeping the hype train going. Go Dogs. Are those names, either of them, on the board? I don't believe
Gas Dog is a very familiar
Very
name.
certain that Gas Dog is. I do not believe that the other one is, however.
Also saw some comments about the merch. Hey, look, here's the deal. You guys know me. I'm a fan of good football. If you are a fan of a good football team and you want to send some merch to the studio, if you're a coach of a good football team and you want to send some merch to the studio, the email is very, very findable here on the YouTube page. Matter of fact, go ahead and drop my email there in the chat for them, and you can correspond with me and I'll get you some stuff. Who we got up on the board? Y'all got a little teaser there for the local hour that's coming up for you guys. What's our name that we're getting here?
Gresham Rohde.
Grisham, right? Grisham, not Gresham.
No, it's Gresham.
It's Gresham? Okay, Gresham Rohde. Shout out to Gresham. Big time super sub right there from Gresham. R-O-D-I-E?
Correct.
R-O-D-I-E. Shout out to Gresham right there. Also, we had a ball knower on Twitter today say that he was walking by his son's bathroom late last night when he was supposed to be brushing his teeth. And he caught my man singing the Film God Network intro. Caught him singing the Film God Network intro. Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. I'm talking about, what should we send that young ball knower? 10 years old and is a diehard, ball-curious Film God Network avid fan. What do we send that young gentleman?
Gotta be some merch or something.
I'm thinking some merch. I'm thinking some stuff up off the wall, something he sees every day on YouTube that now is his. You know what I mean? I mean, eventually this is going to get replaced with a 100K plaque. We're on the way for that one. Somebody's going to win the do not say the F word poster at some point. I'm going to frame it, sign it, send it. You know what I mean? But anyways, we got to figure something out for that 10-year-old ball knower.
I like it.
I'm stoked for that, man. We also got to figure out more guerrilla marketing tactics, all right, to get the word of mouth spread about this here network. Okay, because every person I see bump into the chat or bump into this network for the first time, they all have the same exact response. This is the greatest stuff I've ever seen. This YouTube channel deserves 1 million subs. All right, be about it. Go spread that good news. Go spread that word, for there is a ball knower. All right, go spread that good word. How about that? Where are we at? What are we even talking about?
Might as well hit this last super chat.
No. I think it's important that we toss it to a break right now. Matter of fact, I think it's important that we toss a breaker right about now. We toss a Lucy's breaker. You know what I mean? Oh, so much more pressurized.
Yeah.
Now, you know what I mean? Hey, shout out to our friends over at Lucy's, hooking the boy up with all my nicotine needs. If you're gonna vice, you know how I say it, vice with quality. And when I'm talking about quality with regards to them nicotine pouches, ain't no finer quality in the land than a Lucy breaker. All right, so go holler at my friends over at Lucy's. Today's flavor of choice, the mango. All right, we're mangoing tonight on the channel, and go over to Lucy's today and support those who support us. Go to lucy.co/FGN. Use promo code FGN to get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. I have let Lucy corporate know that we might be having some FGN tag, problems, but hey, my job is to do the read. Their job is to give you that 20% off. All right. So I do have to say this, and here comes the fine print. Lucy's products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Speaking of addictive, this show right here, addictive as possible. As addictive as possible. Once you come get a taste of this, I don't think you want it from anybody else. I don't think you want to be watching college football content from anybody else.
That 3 seconds is going on no context film, guy. Just so you know.
You know what? That guy's been slacking like crazy. So we just been out here feeding him. You know what I mean? Feeding him, trying to give him some layups, see if he's doing his job. If he's not, might have to get gone.
For sure.
Hey, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Chat's already on it. We got well over 500 people in here tonight. I do not see 500 thumbs ups. I do not see 500 thumbs ups. We need all of them, okay? Make sure you're fired off in that chat. I see them super chubs. We're going to continue to get to that. But let's continue our segments today, boys. We got a slammed week 1 slate, and I think it's time to play Guess the Lines. Now, normally it's one of you guys pitted against the boss. The boss cheated today. The boss was talking to graphics, and the graphics team done got me a nice little pretty graphic we're going to show y'all tomorrow. But it ultimately led to me cheating and knowing the lines. So, you two pitted against one another, rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first. The first game on the board today, Georgia Tech going out to Boulder to face them Buffaloes.
You know what?
What is the line?
I'll go first, Jay Will.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll fall on the sword here. It doesn't matter. People are very high on Georgia Tech this season.
Yeah.
I think the offseason that they had and Haynes King really turned some people around. The game they had against Georgia obviously has them very high on that. And by the way, they were pretty close to beating 3 top 10 teams last season.
Yep.
If you want to count Florida State as one. I think the odds makers are going to be a little high on Georgia Tech as well. I'll go Tech by a touchdown in this.
Well, I think a touchdown might be a little too high for me. I do think Georgia Tech is favored despite being the road team in this matchup. And I do think that there is still some love for Colorado out there. I don't think that people are just going into the season thinking that they're going to fall off a cliff, even though I do think that there is going to be quite a step down compared to what they were the previous seasons. I think it's like Georgia Tech minus 5.5.
It is Georgia Tech minus 4.
Oh,
so I believe Jonathan
line.
gets that one.
Mm-hmm. He does.
If we have 8 games to pick here, by the way, if there's any tiebreaker, y'all get to select. We'll pick the biggest game, Texas Ohio State over under.
Okay, over under. All right.
So we got a dub in the column currently for J Will. All right, second game on the slate today. Boo the neutral site game. Boo the neutral site game. South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. On a Sunday, the Lord's work at 3:30 after Sunday reaction shows, of course. What do you got in this football game?
A lot of history between these two football teams, actually.
Yeah.
Between
Like on field or just between the Beamers?
Just really between the Beamers.
Okay.
I think there's about, I can't remember the exact number of matchups in the history, but they haven't played in over 20 years. So this will be an interesting one. But I think South Carolina is definitely favored in this game. I don't think it's as big as maybe some would think. I think that South Carolina probably is favored by 7.
I was going to get it's a 2-score favorite. I'm going to go South Carolina minus 12.5.
Ooh, Kirby, just a little bit too aggressive. South Carolina minus 8.
Dang.
Yeah, 12.5 is a lot.
Yeah.
For a defense that we don't know a ton about.
Very true. Very true.
I mean, is it impossible to think Virginia Tech could run the football to 20 points and milk clock?
Not with Terry and Stewart toting it.
Not at all.
With the bowling ball from Bowling Green.
That was more of a Kyron Drones was not very good last year than anything.
Yeah. What was that about?
I don't know. I think
because the 8 games in 2023 were electric.
Dude, he rushed for over 800 yards.
Dude, he had like 3,000 total yards in like 8 games.
Yeah.
he had people,
and then last year was poop.
He had people thinking Virginia Tech was a sleeper to make the playoff last year.
I know. And now everyone's bailed. Do you think there's a regression to the mean there?
Maybe.
Or I guess a return to the mean there?
Perhaps.
You would assume so. Next football game we got here, Tennessee. Syracuse in the bins on Saturday. What do you got?
The Orange
Man, it is
Bowl.
a super chub night tonight, huh?
They were
I ain't mad
ready.
about it. Hey, we're going to be able to pay the bills this month. How about that? We're
Thank
going to keep
God.
the lights on.
Finally
in this
get a
sucker.
paycheck.
Thank God.
Hell yeah.
What game was it?
The Pay Me Now Bowl between Tennessee and Syracuse.
Oh, the Orange Bowl. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of interesting things coming around this
I'm going to
line.
lead the witness. This is staggering. I just looked at this. This is staggering. Go ahead.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know which way that means.
See, I was thinking it's going to be Tennessee by a touchdown or a little more, but because you said it's staggering, I'm going to say it's probably more in Tennessee's favor. I'll go Tennessee minus 10 here.
I'll go higher than that. I'm going to go Tennessee minus 15.
Jonathan wins. By the way, who won the last one?
Tell you what, he's smoking
it's
me
clean
right now.
sweep right now, 3-0. 13.5.
Wow.
Tennessee minus 13.5.
I did see something today, and this is from a Syracuse podcast, talking about how their cornerback situation isn't exactly ideal in their eyes. They think that could be
For
a big
this matchup.
Just in general, it sounds like they got some big questions in the secondary this year. So maybe that is ringing true, and that's kind of why they're expecting Tennessee to just sling it.
Well, I mean, even when dudes were wide open for Tennessee last year, they couldn't hit them. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. And you'll find out a little bit more about that when we actually make our predictions on this football game. All right. Auburn on the road at Baylor. This has been a funky one.
So,
The last month, flip-floppy. By the way, I have a Vegas source that said one of those flip-flops was because a major gambler came in and put $500,000 on Baylor.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would say, so we've done this game before, actually, and we all found out that Baylor was favored minus 2.5 at the time. If we're doing it again, it's probably going to imply that the line shifted another way.
Look at this guy's deduction skills, man.
I'm going to go Auburn minus 1.5 points.
You think Auburn's favored now?
I think so.
I think Baylor is still favored, but I think it's also, I was going to guess Baylor minus 1.5.
Hey, man, Kirby's on the board.
Let's go.
What you got? It works? Promo code working? All right. Promo code working over there with our folks at Lucy's. Promo code FGN, 20%.
Hold on, AI.
Don't do that. Don't do that right now on live. Do not do that on Maine. Do not do that on Maine. I mean, come on, dude. What are you doing? What?
So Auburn's favored now?
Auburn's favored minus 2.5 in this football.
Okay, so it just completely flipped the other way. That's a 5-point change. That's 5 points.
That's pretty significant.
With a $500,000 on Baylor.
Well, maybe I'll drop $500,000 on Baylor again.
All right.
You have $500,000 to drop?
What do you know? You know my financial status?
Now, this is one that everyone thinks, boys, rein it in. This is one that everyone thinks is going to be a landslide. What is the line on the Alabama at Florida State football game this weekend?
Oh, gosh. Alabama definitely by multiple scores, I'm going to say. I'm going to say Alabama is favored by 16.
I don't think it's that many. I think when you get two Power 4 opponents in these week ones, when there's been nothing shown between these two teams, odds makers are scared to make big lines. It'll be like Alabama minus 13.5.
Whew. Do you get plus points for an exacto?
Oh, on the nose?
On the nose. Alabama minus 13.5, by the way. Spoiler alert on a later segment. I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay it hard on that football game. What's up next? We got Clemson hosting LSU. Boys, what is the line in this here football game? Another one that's relatively surprising to me, considering I've got LSU making a playoff this year. What do you got?
I'm first, right?
I'm leading way too many witnesses.
Yeah, I was about to say, all right. You're first.
All right, so Clemson's at home for this game. It's a night game. People have been very high on Clemson this year, saying they're going to win the national title. LSU's gotten some love as well, but it hasn't been as significant. I'll go Clemson 3.5.
I'm going to go a little less than that. I think that it's definitely, because of what Brooke said, I do know to lean Clemson, it sounds like. But I think it's going to be like Clemson minus 2.5. Basically, like you're the home team. Let's give it to you.
You smell that? I smell a comeback. Kirby gets it. It's minus 4 in favor of Clemson.
Really?
Right
minus 4?
Yep, minus 4.
Interesting.
All right, the Sunday night game, I believe, Notre Dame and Miami. What do you got? Hard Rock gonna be bumping.
All right. Notre Dame is favored. Notre Dame is favored in this matchup, but I think it's going to be like Notre Dame minus 5, in my opinion. That's what I'll go with.
I'll go Notre Dame minus 5.5, just because that was kind of the line I was going at, and I think it'll be more in their favor. So
I think I know our lock of the week because it's Notre Dame minus 2.5.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I was surprised too. I'm with y'all. I got it as like a 4.5, 5-point spread. But
J-Will got me
I think
by
we
half
just
a
found
point.
some value heading into our.
I thought you taking the hook was going to get me.
Hey, so that right there is a 3-0 lead, absolutely squandered by Jonathan Williams.
I just won the point though.
He just won the point. He's
never
4-2.
All right, comes down to the last one, 4-3. Ohio State hosting Texas. What's the line?
You go first.
I don't think these two teams could be more even. There are not more reasons as to why one team could win or the other. That said, it's an Ohio State game. It's going to be in Ohio State. I'll give the home field advantage to Ohio State and go 2.5.
Not a bad guess. Puts you in a tough little
predicament
right there.
Yeah, I do think Ohio State is favored basically because they are the home team.
Yeah,
I think that's the only premise I'm going off of in this. But I'm going to go less. I'm going to say that Ohio State is favored by 1.5.
Ooh. Exacto. Ohio State favored by 1.5. Jonathan wins our first guess the line segment of the year.
That's interesting. That implies that in a neutral site, Vegas believes Texas would win that game.
Yep. Or would make it a pick 'em.
Or would be favored in that game.
I don't think. I mean, in pro football, it's worth 3 points, right? Home field. What is the Vegas handicap for home field?
It's usually two. It's usually 2.5 points in college. Yeah.
So you think Vegas in a neutral would favor Texas by a point, which means they would make it a pick 'em.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em at that point, but still interesting.
All right, it's time to do some predictions. Now, we normally do this on Tuesdays last year, and look, I don't like to pull the curtain back too much, but I'm going to pull the curtain back, okay? What?
Let's say, do you want to hit those super chubs real quick?
Yeah, let's hit the super chubs. But what I was going to get at is, like, guys, the algorithm and you guys' attention span tells me that we need to get up earlier on these predictions. We need to get these shots up earlier in the week. So we'll have to get them up earlier in the week, and it is just the way it is. All right? These are names that need to go on the board. All of these are, it looks like. Our man J_Vetters, which I shouldn't say our man considering a comment that I noticed coming up here in a second. Jay Vetters says, you may be the first to the board, but which of us has been a member of the Film Guy Patreon channel for months? Hey, I know who our first subscriber is on Patreon. I know him by name. I sent him a pair of Kobe edition Jordans, or Kobe edition Nikes.
It's a shame since he doesn't even watch the show anymore.
I know.
He doesn't even support us anymore.
He's not even a ball knower.
Yeah.
In fact, he's gone so the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, we love Josh Pate around here. But he is out here actively supporting Josh Pate. More so than just with his viewership. He's out here putting money where mouth is. That's crazy. I mean, he still gives me his credit card every month, but I'm appreciative of that. Shout out to Jay Vetters. I'm going to put him on the board here in a second. Jason Long, no comment, just super chub. We love that. Marcy Rain says women love football too. Go Dogs.
Hell yeah.
I can't tell you how many men I've met in the world, right? Out in the world, in the wild, that come up to me and they say, man, I can't get I could never get my wife to understand football. She watches you now and she gets it. Now, for every 5 great testimonials, as soon as the couple walks away, the husband looks at me and goes, but now she gives football opinions and I got to listen to them. I'm just kidding.
We had a few more, I believe, too.
We have a few more in there?
I know
I'm on the fan funding section.
I know that Linda Vetters was also a donation as well.
Did I take the silver marker back over there? Give me those names. You snap it at me, AI. I don't know necessarily about love being snapped at, my boy.
Trying to grab.
I'm just kidding. Snap at me.
Did we talk about Josh Armstrong?
Oh, no, we didn't. That's $100 super chat. Read that one right quick, man. That's big time.
I found the Film Guy Network 2.5 years ago, and it's changed my life substantially. Not only do I get 9 hours weekly of the best college football talk on the planet, but the best UJ Insider Nugs on the Dogs over at Patreon. But the Discord family is truly amazing. Thanks for everything, Brody.
Absolutely. We love it. All right, names. Give me those names. Rattle them off. Let's go.
We got Jay Vetters.
J_Vetters, right?
Mm-hmm. And I know that Linda Vetters also put in a donation as well, saying that she was going to be the first to the board. So
how do we spell Linda?
Lynda, I believe was.
Lynda Vetters. We got the Vetters family in here. We love to see it. We love to see it. Who else we got?
We got Marcy Rain.
Marcy Rain. That's Marcie.
Yes, and then Rain, or probably Ryan. It's Rien.
Rien. Shout out to Marcy.
And then we also got Jason Long.
Shout out to Jason Long. We're losing pin here. Hey, AI, go ahead and put an order in on Amazon for some Sharpies, or at least take a mental note down and remind me after tonight's show, and I'll put that order in on Amazon, okay? Appreciate you there, buddy. Appreciate everybody else supporting the channel tonight. That's big time right there. That's big time. We got over 650 people on YouTube watching us right about now. Make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button. All right, boys. Where are we at? We're at this Texas.
We're making predictions.
Yeah, we are. Syracuse versus Tennessee.
So this is an interesting one because Fran Brown is a guy that I think certainly has the recipe of what it takes to beat a Tennessee offense and to stymie a Josh Heupel attack. The question then becomes is, do you have the proper ingredients for that? But on the flip side, does Tennessee have the recipe to do the same thing for them? We've talked about it. We don't really necessarily love their weapons this year. They lost Dylan Sampson on the backfield. We don't know what Joey Aguilar is at the quarterback position. There's a lot of questions, and that's what you get in week one. I think that Tennessee is going to probably be a more explosive team this year. I don't know if they're going to be consistent, though. I think they're going to get put in a box and suffocate a lot. With that said, I do think it's going to be a type of game where Tennessee hits 3 or 4 explosives that end up being the difference maker.
Look, I'm going to be locked into Texas versus Ohio State at noon, but I think of all of the films on Saturday that I might be sprinting to watch, it's going to be this one. I'm very curious. I'm very curious to see what Joey Aguilar is going to look like in this offense because I watched it. We watched it a ton last year. And we more than anybody, I feel like on the internet, from a national perspective, understand that Tennessee was not Tennessee standard from a throwing the ball standpoint last year. They ran it like they were supposed to. They're going to run it like they're supposed to this year. But when guys are open downfield, can you actually take advantage of it? I think Joey Aguilar is going to do a lot better job of it this year, and I'm curious. I'm more so curious than anything, but I think Tennessee can run the ball and defense their way to a win, and that's what I'm picking here.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this football game as well. But I also think, like you mentioned it, like I think this is prime side screening football game. Like it's not going to take up the main screen on Saturday, but it's definitely a matchup that I'm really intrigued about. One that I want to at least keep an eye on, keep tabs on for both quarterbacks, both Angeli and Joey Aguilar as well in this matchup, and just kind of seeing like, is there a year or two regression for Fran Brown in Syracuse this year after losing some really good football players from last year's team? And then is Tennessee going to kind of remain the same that they were previous years under Josh Heupel? I think they are, because I think they still have the personnel to run the offense, the ideal offense that Josh Heupel wants to this year.
Oh, hey boys, just crossed over 54,000 subscribers. Give them 3. Just kidding. We all on Tennessee?
Yeah, I have
Tennessee
like
winning.
a 28-20 type win.
Ooh. I don't like being doubted. I don't like doubting Fran Brown like that as a show. but I guess it is what it is. Let's move on. South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. This is the start, boys and girls. This is the weekend that it starts, the Lenore Sellers for Heisman campaign. I got Lenore Sellers going off in this football game. I don't know much of what to prepare for from Virginia Tech other than the run game. They're always going to run the football. That's what my football brain tells me about the Hokies. That being said, I got the South Carolina Gamecocks with like a 7-point win off the back of Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, I mean, they have the biggest playmaker in this game. It's Lenore Sellers, and they're going to rely on him a lot, especially with everything they lost last year. I agree with you. I think that it's just going to be too much for Virginia Tech to overcome. I do think it's worth noting how poorly Shane Beamer teams have played in Week 1 games, though. We saw it last year against Old Dominion. We saw it a few years ago against North Carolina. Like, they take a week or two to get really rolling in the season. So that's something to pay attention to. But at the end of the day, I think South Carolina wins this.
Honestly, I wanted to pick South Carolina to roll. But what you just mentioned causes hesitation for me.
Yep.
This is a slow starting football program. We give Brian Kelly all the smoke in the world. These guys don't stumble out of the gate. They fall on their face.
Yeah. That said, I have them like in a 35-21 win.
Yeah.
They'll handle it.
I think that the biggest key for this matchup to me is like who can contain the quarterback the best, because as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Kyron Drones ran for over 800 yards 2 seasons ago when he was playing really good football for them. And if he returns to that this season, I think that you could see a style of game where it's really just all about who can keep each quarterback within the pocket and who can get them down on the ground on top of that. Drones is by no means as good of a runner as Lenore is, but I think both guys can create at a high level and create some explosives on top of that. And before you know it, they're in the red zone and they're scoring before you can even blink. But I do think that South Carolina ultimately wins this game because I think that Lenore is just a better, more reliable option consistently. I think you can count on him answering questions that aren't even answerable almost at times, to the fact that they're going to be a little more explosive in this football game. But I do think it's a tight game. I don't think that South Carolina's just going to roll away with this one.
Jesse Sewell, our Gamecocks fan in the chat, says those teams were rolling out a lot of unproven players, not this year. I agree with you. You have a roster that is relatively returns a lot of starters, particularly on the offensive side of the football. But I would bring your attention to the North Carolina game a couple years ago, where you're fresh off an 8-4 season, and a lot of people think Spencer Rattler's about to boom, and then you give up 12 sacks to start the football season. So, like, I'm with you. Like, I want to buy it. Like, I'm telling you, I put money on Lenore Sellers to win the Heisman. I want to buy South Carolina hype. But the reality is, like, they are normally slow to start these football games. Now, I think it's a little bit different this year. I do believe in the quarterback more so than anybody else in college football this year to win games by himself, which I think is some points this year he's going to have to do. Now, are we all on South Carolina?
Yeah.
So we're all on Tennessee. We're all on South Carolina. And the other day, which we've already done our Texas versus Ohio State predictions, we were all on Texas?
No,
I was on Ohio State.
I was on Ohio State as well.
It was just me on Texas. Okay. Well, let's recap that for the audience that didn't listen to it, because I'm sure we got a bunch of people tonight that are tuning in and maybe didn't hear that Texas versus Ohio State game. If you haven't watched that, we've uploaded the full prediction episode. It's like 14 minutes long here on the network. Make sure you go take a peep at that. I think this game, to me, if Ohio State's going to win it, it's because of two people, James Peoples, ironically enough, and Julian Sand. They're up for the moment. If they're up for the moment in this football game, I believe Ohio State can make this a fourth quarter, take advantage of the home field advantage and win a one-score game at the end. However, I don't like betting on young players in game one against a really, really good opponent in the form of the Texas Longhorns. I still got Texas winning this football game just a couple of days later after having picked it.
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate what I said about the football game, I think for Ohio State, it kind of boils down to two things defensively. I think it boils down to like how free can Caleb Downs play? Like if he's free to help stop the run, play like really creep into the tackle box, I think that's a big deal for them. And also Bo Atkinson, their transfer portal acquisition, for a team that runs wide zone like Texas does, he's got to be a big disruptor for them. So I think that those two guys on defense are big keys. Then offensively, it's like, can you get Julian saying like comfortable and like efficient very early in this football game? I don't think you can afford much time to get him acquitted to this football game like in the second half. Let it take a bunch of time for him. But I just think that the two, again, I said it when we did our prediction of, I think that Caleb Downs is the best defensive player in college football. I think Jeremiah Smith is the best offensive player. I'm going to bet on those guys to win in this football game. I have them 28-24.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a battle no matter what. I think that like you said, it's going to be dependent on how Texas can run wide zone, how how well the Ohio State defensive line can set edges on that, how well Caleb Downs can fly around, how well Jeremiah Smith can dictate what the Texas defense does. I don't think he has to have 100 receiving yards in this game for it to matter. I think if you do that, there are plenty of other options. Carnell Tate is a name I've kept throwing out. That is a name that is going to be the X factor in this game. Ultimately, I went with Ohio State for 2 reasons. It's a home environment for them, and I think Arch Manning might get into a couple situations where he is trying to do too much that will lead to turnovers.
Bonus take for you. Jeremiah Smith is the closest thing the sporting world has seen to Steph Curry since Steph Curry's prime. And here's what I mean by that. You're going to make a decision. Either Jeremiah Smith's going for 200 today, or we're going to dedicate so much to him that everybody else is going to have opportunities. And if everybody else eats, then we're in deep trouble. All right, and that's the decision. And he's going to, what you're talking about, he's going to draw and dictate so much coverage and make everything else so available. It's about whether or not everybody else can win. And during those times of those Golden State Warriors years, that's what it was. Mm-hmm. Hey, either Steph's going for 50 today, or we're going to leave everybody else open, and we have to decide which one we're going to.
We're going to make Klay Thompson make 10 corner threes today.
Yeah, and he's going to do it. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're going to put it on the shoulders of Carnell Tate. Oh, you're going to put it on the shoulders of a top 75 wide receiver recruit that would probably be the starting X at 99% of college football programs. Like, that's what it is, and that's what you just described. We're going to give Klay Thompson a corner three. We're going to give Carnell Tate one-on-one on an island over there by himself. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. So I'm more than excited to watch it, but I do think Texas gets the edge in that football game. All right, our first full prediction of the night: Alabama going on the road to Florida State again. Away with the neutral home and home or neutral site bullcrap in these non-con games. Give it to me home and home style, like Alabama and Florida State are doing in this matchup. Number one key to the matchup for me, boys. I do not think Thomas Castellanos has ever shown a consistent ability to create any sense of verticality in the passing game. Okay, 25 and in, super accurate. 25 and in can do some really fun stuff with the arm talent. But as long as Thomas Castellanos is playing quarterback in Florida State, particularly in this matchup, I do not trust their ability to throw the ball down the field, which means we are relying on a run game to create all of our explosives in a four-quarter football game in which I think you're going to have to put up a lot of points. I don't think it serves well for Florida State with his limitations in the vertical passing game, boys. Mm-hmm.
For me, I think a big key to this matchup is which running back is going to complement the quarterback the best. I think Alabama has the edge in that regard just because of their line of scrimmage play. Nothing to do with either the running back, just because I think Alabama is going to be great on the defensive front. I think Alabama is going to be really good on the offensive line as well. On top of that, they're not going to have their starting running back heading into this matchup, so that's kind of a ding to that. But even then, I think Alabama is really going to be able to dictate this football game because of how well they're going to run the game and how well they're going to stop Florida State's run game, because at that point, if you're putting it on at the feet of Thomas Castellanos, I don't know if I love that matchup going into there.
Yeah, the most important key to this matchup for me is how quickly, if at all, does Florida State's roster get overwhelmed by Alabama's talent? We know what it is. On paper, these two teams are not on the same level. Alabama is far superior. Alabama should come in and roll them over like we've all expected. The key is going to be how quickly or how much of a fight does Florida State put up. You've got your home state to defend. You've got your home stadium to defend. You've got, Mike Norvell's legacy to defend. There's all of these things that you're going to try to defend. Can you resist the talent depth that you are facing?
All right, boys, who's the X factor in this football game? For me, knowing what Florida State's going to be, right, knowing the history of Gus Malzahn, knowing the history of Thomas Castellanos, ladies and gentlemen, you better get ready for some option. You better get ready for some quarterback run. And I know Deontay Lawson is going to be the vocal leader, the green dot on this football team and on this defense. But I don't know if I'm ready to give him 100% of the workload week one after coming off the knee injury from a year ago. I know he told us he's about 90% going into camp. I know I expect him to play in this football game. But if I'm putting all of the workload of we can't have you come off the field at the linebacker position in this game, it's going to be in Justin Jefferson's hands.
Same note.
And I think he's great. I think Justin Jefferson is ready to step up to the plate and play big-time football for this Alabama roster. I've watched it on tape in mop-up duty in the last couple of years. I've watched it in the second rotation type of snaps. He's a damn good linebacker, really instinctual. I think he's going to be all over the field on Saturday. He's going to be the X factor.
Yeah, I mean, the way Thomas Castellanos has kind of talked this offseason and whether or not it's for show or to hype up his team or not, he very clearly thinks that he's going to be the difference maker in this game. He very clearly thinks that he's going to be able to do things that Alabama has not seen before that is going to elevate Florida State. There's nothing better at hindering a mobile quarterback than a solid Mike linebacker that can shut down whether or not you're running draw plays or option plays or throwing over the middle.
Or just as simple as spying him.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's athletic enough to spy this.
Yeah,
kid.
I mean, they're probably just going to run a one-man spy on him the entire game. So I think that is what makes Justin Jefferson the X factor. Because if you shut down that, you kind of shut down a Gus Malzahn offense in particular. Like anytime a quarterback hasn't really been able to run, Gus Malzahn offenses have very struggled.
And like, I know there's going to be people that listen to this episode and they're going to say, Alabama struggled with Vandy last year. They ran a bunch of the option. The film didn't tell us that. The film told us they lost to Vandy because they couldn't get off the field on 3rd and 7.
Correct.
Like they were 12 for 19 was Vandy in that football game on 3rd down. That ain't you getting your butt whooped on 1st down. That's you getting your butt whooped on 3rd.
With a 4th down touchdown, by the way.
And a 4th down touchdown.
So like they converted a couple of 4th downs, I think, in that game.
time.
So yeah, like they could not get off the field.
Yeah.
Akin to the Ohio State matchup, I think the X factor for me is Gurmy Bernard. I think that Ryan Williams, obviously,
Gurmy or Jeremy?
I thought it was Jeremy.
Jeremy? I think that's Jeremy.
Okay, Jeremy Bernard.
Yeah.
I think
me being the corrective name guy. My bad.
Bernard. Yeah. Alabama's Bernard. I think that Ryan Williams is going to require a lot of attention, rightfully so, because of how explosive of a playmaker he can be and has shown to be over the years. So I think that really adds, not pressure, but it creates opportunity for Bernard to have a big game for them. I think that Ty Simpson is certainly going to be looking his way. A little safety valve, if you will, for a guy making his first career start.
I'm going to tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we got ourselves a coming out party of brewing on Saturday. I think we got ourselves a coming out party. I think Ty Simpson throws for 350 yards and 4 tuds on Saturday. You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen.
Ooh. I said that the key factor of this game was going to be how quickly does Florida State get overwhelmed by this talent, because I do think it'll happen at some point in this game. I don't think it's happening in the first quarter, though. I think Florida State takes a lead at the end of the first quarter, carries it into the second quarter. Heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Thomas Castellanos has 3 turnovers and becomes the meme of the weekend. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Ooh.
I think it might happen. Yeah, those quotes are coming right back to the timeline, like immediately, as if to answer the question, the age-old question of why don't you say, why you shouldn't say that right there. All for the possible outcome of a potential win, which we don't think is going to happen. All right, score prediction. I've got Alabama in this football game 31-14. They roll.
So I had there's 2 scenarios that play out my head for this game. Option A is that Alabama jumps on them early, kills them, crushes them, never looks back, and Florida State plays catch up a little bit, has some nothing touchdowns at the end, kind of makes the score look a little better. Option B is that Florida State actually comes out, punches them in the mouth, crowd might rattle Ty Simpson a little bit, maybe have a lead after the end of the first quarter, maybe take a lead in the halftime, but at the end of the game, Alabama is just going to roll on that. Either way, 34-17 is the outcome.
I know we're getting to yours. I will be really intrigued to see how this Florida State fan base shows up for this football game.
Oh, they'll be loud.
I know, but after a 2-10 season, they're going to be. That's how it's a test for them,
right? No, absolutely.
Like, are you going to show up?
But like, it's
football fans are delusional.
They are.
It's also week 1. It's the return of college football. You got
You're right.
You got Alabama coming to town. You're going to show up for that.
What do you got for me?
I think it's Alabama 33-17, and I don't think that Alabama's going to get off to the super hot start. Like, I don't think it's going to be all cylinders are clicking at the very beginning of the game and they're just cooking. I think this is more so of this team is going to start rolling by as the second half creeps in, and as we approach the fourth quarter, that's when I think that you'll see this Kalen DeBoer offense really start to heat things up and start to put some more points on the board. So that's why I have it 33-17, but I see that 17 coming from a late touchdown from Florida State, a garbage time touchdown, something along the lines of that. So I don't think that it's relatively close, but I think that you're going to see some moments where it's like, oh, maybe we had too high of expectations for this Alabama offense, but I think this is an offense that is just going to only get better as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think it's a thing where you see your Florida State is either going to score all their points in the first half or all their points in the second half. I think that's the type of game you're going to see.
Another massive game on the slate this weekend as Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, go down to Coral Gables to take on the Miami Hurricanes inside the Hard Rock Stadium. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a massive brand awareness football game right here. Two of the bigger brands in all of college football. I think the number one key in this matchup is very, very simple, very repetitive with regards to, are you going to beat Notre Dame? Are you going to win against the man-to-man coverage unit that they finna throw at you? Unless your name is Jeremiah Smith and the Ohio State Buckeyes, you finna get a bunch of cover one man. You finna get a bunch of six-man pressures. You finna get a bunch of single high safety. That's what you're about to get from Notre Dame, and it's all going to revolve down to this one thing. Can you protect the quarterback against six-man pressures long enough for your wide receivers to potentially get open? And I'm going to be honest with you. If I know nothing about a team from Notre Dame last year and nothing about a team from Miami last year, I expect Notre Dame to replenish the ability to be a bump and run man-to-man cover team that's elite far more than I trust the ability for Miami to repeat the passing success that they had from a year ago. All right, so I think that's the major key in this one, and I think Notre Dame's got a slight edge.
Yeah, our keys are similarly kind of adjacent. Mine is which team can force their will and make them play the game they want to. We talked about it. Notre Dame is very much a drag you into deep waters play, slow, boring, methodical game, suffocate you on defense and score enough points on offense. Miami all of last year was, hey, offense, 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 offense. Let's see how many points we can get Cam Ward and these weapons to throw up. Yeah. I think that you're probably going to get a similar approach to Miami just because of the way the roster's built this year. If whoever can do that and implement the game that they want, I don't think Notre Dame is a roster that's designed to play catch up, and I don't think Miami's a team that's designed to just hold Notre Dame's defense and not score 20 points. And that is kind of adjacent to what can these weapons do against man-to-man coverage, because if Miami's not getting open, you're likely playing Notre Dame's game. However, if those weapons are getting open and Carson Beck's throwing the ball over the field, Notre Dame's going to be in trouble, because we saw in the Ohio State game last year, they're not designed to play from behind. They're not designed to have these quick hit drives and score fast and score a lot of points. Like, I think the opening drive of the national championship took 18 plays. So that's the type of game Notre Dame wants to play.
Yeah, for me, it boils down to a point that we've all hammered this offseason of which wide receiver core is going to win at a higher percentage this weekend. Is it like, is Nye Carr and Trader going to be dudes for Miami this season? I think there's certainly a possibility. We just don't know that yet. For Notre Dame, is it going to be Faison, Greathouse, those guys? Like, are those guys going to be reliable weapons for Notre Dame in this offense? Because we know what they have in the running back room. We know they have two really good options and one great option in that running back room. And we know that you can rely on those guys when you need to. But you also got to pass the ball. You got to find winnable and explosive plays in the passing game. I think both offenses have to, but it's really going to come down to which wide receiver unit is going to win at a higher rate. That to me is going to let me know, like, oh, this team is on track to win this football game.
Who's the X factor in this football game? For me, it's Ahmad Moten, the nose tackle for the Miami Hurricanes. Everybody knows about Ruben Bain. We all know about that. But and we also know this. We also know Notre Dame's going to be running the football on Saturday. And if you can put this game at the feet of C.J. Carr, you got an opportunity to win it if you're Miami, all right? I really do believe that. So give me the big nose tackle, Ahmad Moten, really requiring a lot of attention. Because, look, hey, if we're able to single-handedly block the nose tackle, we might be able to direct a lot more attention to Ruben Bain, which means we might be able to limit his ability to impact this football game.
Yeah, I went with a couple names. It's the wide receiver core of Miami. It's Josiah Trader. It's Tony Johnson. It's those guys, the CJ Daniels of the world. Whichever one can get open the most, and maybe it's all three of them, because we've talked about it. Carson Beck is not necessarily a great playmaker, but he is a fantastic processor and a fantastic distributor. If you give him time to find the answers and you give him an open answer, he will make that throw. He will make that play, and Miami's offense will succeed. So it all really depends on, one, can you protect him? That's a given, and also who's getting open for Miami. If that's not the case, Carson Beck's going to have a rough day.
You can call it a layup, but it's Jeremiah Love for me, but not because of what Jeremiah Love is able to do, not because of his talent, not because of how explosive of a runner he is. It's not because of that. I think it's more so to do with the fact that Miami's run defense last year was not just some slappy that was giving it up constantly. I think that defense is a lot more solid than what people remember them as. So if they're able to do that, and to Brooks's point, to the interior defensive line, if they're able to be disruptive, if they're able to kind of keep him at bay and simmer him down a little bit, and again, put it on the shoulders of CJ Carr and that wide receiver room, then it makes it a lot more interesting of a game. But if it's Jeremiah Love and he's running wide open for days and he's picking up the dirty yards and he hits you for 50, then it's going to be a tough day for Miami.
Sidebar: do you think it's a tough environment?
It can be.
Do you think that place is raucous?
So here's the thing. I went back and watched that 2017 Miami Notre Dame game, the one they were talking about. That place was loud. Now, that was peak Miami. We're a top 10 team. The turnover chains back, the U, it's all that.
Having been in that stadium, it's just not on top of you enough. Because no NFL stadium is. Maybe apart from Green Bay. Like, the Green Bay is the only NFL stadium where it feels like those fans are within arm's reach of you. That's every college stadium we go to, at least here in the Southeast. Every conference or every stadium we go to, it feels like those fans at any moment could be on top of you. It doesn't feel like that there. So, but it's loud's loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether or not they feel like they're on top of you, it doesn't really matter. Hey, I think it's extremely reasonable to think that Miami could absolutely have CJ Carr in a tizzy and an absolute tailspin. And for that reason, I got Miami's defense with 2 touchdowns on Saturday.
Whoa.
You heard it here first. Unless it doesn't happen.
That is that's a bold one.
How about this one? Neither team has an offensive scoring touchdown going into halftime of this football game.
Oh, viable. So viable.
Very viable.
It's going to come up in my score predictions.
All right.
Viable.
Give me a 6-3 halftime game.
Oh, yeah. Give me a real muck fest in this football game.
Let me throw this one out for you. There's a guy on this team in this game that's playing that's been pretty underrated throughout the season. Was disrespected, I think. Didn't have a great 2024, but by God, he's back. I'm going to say Carson Beck, 300 yards in this game. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
For a secondary that didn't give up over 200 passing yards on average last year, man, that's a true.
Draft him tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just, hey, opt out the rest of the season. If you go for 3 bills on Saturday and you look like a dude, Carson, just be like, I'm good.
My elbow's hurting again.
Ooh. You know?
I think I need to rest for 14 weeks, Coach.
Just put it in your contract. I will not interview with you unless you only base the eval off 2023 tape and the one game against Notre Dame. That's all you get. That's all you get. First round draft pick, top 10. What is your score prediction? Look, I think this is a classic week 1 Notre Dame football game.
Yeah.
I think this is a Notre Dame going to have you in a headlock until about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you're going to have to summon a 2-minute drive to go win. I think this is a Notre Dame 17-14, run the ball, win it off defense ball game.
You know, I think that people forget too about how Notre Dame opened up their season last year. I mean, you watch that Texas A&M Notre Dame game, and it was like neither of these teams are good. Neither of these teams are going to a playoff. Neither of these teams are going to be a national title contender. Only for Notre Dame to end up in the national title game last year. So, with that said, I've already kind of mentioned it. I think that this game is going to be very slow. I think it's going to be a very unexciting, maybe, to start this football game, and I think it picks up a little bit in the second half. But ultimately, I think that Notre Dame is going to be really sound on defense this year. And I also think that Jeremiah Love and all the other weapons in this offense are going to put them in positions to be more successful in the second half than, say, in Miami. I think that Notre Dame wins a very close one. I have Notre Dame 24, Miami 20.
Yeah, I think the thing that Marcus Freeman established more than ever last year as the head coach, even in the game that he lost against NIU, which disgusting, but Notre Dame.
Tell me how you really feel.
Oh,
I mean, I did last.
I was just saying,
that they
let's
pulled their pants down and pooped on the midfield.
I was like, that's pretty
They took
heinous.
a dump on Maine. Yeah.
But no, what it showed me last year is that Notre Dame team and his rosters are very sound in the last moments of the game. And I trust Notre Dame to do that more. And honestly, I think they have a little bit more of a talent advantage on the roster. I went Notre Dame 27-20, similar to what Jay Will said. Yeah. Slow burning game, get a couple of exciting.
It's a lot of points.
Not that
feels
many.
Like a lot.
It feels like a lot, but I mean, like, that's 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Hey, we've said it on this network before. If CJ Carr is like a plus passer, Notre Dame's going to be terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Because they've been a 10-win football program for the last 20 years with nothing at the quarterback position other than a competitor. Like, that's been the baseline at Notre Dame. Don't turn it over and compete. We'll see where CJ Carr meets on that. Chat in there fretting about me taking coaching job. Guys, I ain't got no aspirations right about now to get into college football coaching. All right, none. Now I do enjoy what I do, and I ain't got no other sights on nothing else. All right, I think we're doing pretty good at this. I think this is all right. I mean, I get to sit at home all day and talk football. And I ain't got to worry about wins and losses, whether or not I'm going to have a job tomorrow. I think I'm okay on that. Now, I might Trent Dilfer this thing in a couple of years. We might be talking ball 8 to 10 and coaching high school ball 9 to 8. You know, that might be the dream right there. That'd be kind of cool.
8 to 10 to 9 to what?
9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
Making sure we got the most dialed high school football team that God's ever seen, and then coming in here and just dialing up football content for 2 hours. Dream.
That would
Absolute
be pretty sick.
Dream. You know, I know that sounds like a 16-hour workday to most people, but that not to me. Not to me. That would be awesome. All right, let's get into this next one. LSU going on the road to Clemson and playing for the true who is. Oh, hold on, we're gonna start this over. Let's clip farm right quick. Okay, let's clip farm right quick. LSU going on the road to Clemson for the battle of the true Death Valley. Let's get into it, boys. Score prediction times. Number one key to the matchup. Guys, I truly believe this is the key to the matchup in any LSU football game this year. If you keep Garrett Nussmeier upright, I promise you he's going to compete to win. I promise you right now, if you can protect Garrett Nussmeier, I truly believe he's going to be in New York fighting for a Heisman this season. The problem with this is they couldn't protect him last year. They had two first round caliber tackles last year and couldn't protect him. The interior of the offensive line was just not good enough. All right, so they have got to take steps in terms of protection this year up front. It's a major key for them moving forward. Here's why it's a nightmare situation for this one. That Clemson defensive line is as good as anybody in college football. Nay, I'd say they are the best in college football. Peter Woods is the first round draft pick. TJ Parker's the first round draft pick. Wade Woodaz is great. Sammy Brown is great. DJ Capehart is great. They brought in a defensive end from Purdue. They got a great front six. All right. Or as we said last night, they got great box play at Clemson. We love the box at Clemson. All right. So that's a major concern in this football game, and I'll give Clemson an edge for it.
Definitely. I think another concern is we talk about quarterback play. Cade Klubnik versus Garrett Nussmeier. It's a big matchup, and keeping them upright is going to be important. But also keeping these defenses honest. If you can't run the football, neither of these quarterbacks are going to be as effective. And both of these questions, there's huge question marks for both of these teams. Clemson's going to be starting a true freshman in Gideon Davis, or a redshirt freshman, I believe, in Gideon Davis. Caden Durham for LSU. We don't know who's going to be able to run the football. We think that it's going to be a struggle for both teams. So I think whichever team is more effective at running the football will open things up for that quarterback.
To your point, wouldn't that make Cade one of these X factors, because he's going to be the only quarterback that is a threat to run.
No,
you
absolutely.
know what I mean? Like, he's going to be able to add into the run equation for Clemson, and they're going to need it. Mm-hmm. They're going to need it because of what you mentioned right there. You know, somebody's going to have to be able to run the football. Neither of these teams were very good at it last year.
No, they were not.
I think we read the stat off. In 3 games against SEC football teams last year, Clemson was sub 80 yards on the ground and sub 3 yards per carry. Inefficient and didn't get the yardage. LSU was 107th last year in rushing yards per game.
My key to the matchup is which quarterback can avoid the catastrophic misses, not the catastrophic turnovers or any of that. The catastrophic misses. In other words, when the OC dials one up at the perfect time for us to hit an explosive and put like guaranteed points on the board, like it's going to hit. You just got to make the throw. Who's going to make more of those, or who's going to hit the more crucial one down the stretch of this football game? I'm going to give the edge to Nussmeier because he's going to take more of them. I know that for a fact about him. He's not going to shy away and turn down plays for him. He's going to take the big shots at the very least, and I think he's got some improved weapons this year to increase the percentage of those hitting this year.
Of any of these defensive coordinators, though, Tom Allen or Blake Baker,
that's true. That's a good point. If
anyone's going to get caught with their pants down, is Blake Baker.
That's a good point.
The history says, at least last year's history said, LSU would do things randomly where it's like, oh, wow, we're doing too much, and we just gave up a busted coverage. There goes 75 to the door. We can't allow that to happen this year. I think year 2, I think you should be able to expect some of that to be cleaned up. We've given Kay Womack the benefit of the doubt here, right? His problem was repetitive scheme. LSU's problem was being a little too exotic last year and getting caught with their pants down. I hope they get it cleaned up this year for LSU's fans' purposes. Who's the X factor in this football game? And try to tell me why it's not Harlem Berry, the true freshman running back for LSU. You're talking about, hey, who's going to be the running back for LSU? How are we going to create some type of sense of run game? Harlem Berry might be the fastest running back in college football this year as a true freshman, okay? He is an electric play waiting to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. happen and if it's going to happen week 1 for this football team. All he needs is one. Just give me one explosive Harlem Berry tote, and I think it flips the momentum of this football game.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of viable options for who's going to be the X factor in this game. There's a lot of guys on both sides that have the opportunity to make a difference. Ultimately, I went with Harold Perkins, and here's why. They have moved him to the star position this year, and for those who don't know, it's the nickel safety that comes on the field, or pretty much stays on the field at this point in the way offenses are played nowadays. He's going to be around the ball a lot, but he's going to be in pass coverage a lot more. If Harold Perkins is not a viable option in the deep passing coverage, Cade Klubnik is going to be able to expose that very much. If Harold Perkins is everything that they have said he is, and he is playing amazing at this position, he's going to be locking that. He's going to be all around the ball. He's going to give that Clemson offense a lot of problems.
Let me just paint a picture for you. It's 1st and 10, ball at the 45, plus 45. Okay? Antonio Williams is in the slot in a 3-by-1 situation, and Harold Perkins has to turn and run with him.
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
I don't love it, but
I mean, nobody really likes it. That's why nobody does it.
Right.
But we talked about it when they announced that he's going to do this, that he's going to play star. It's the first thing we drew up on the board. How are you going to defend 3-by-1? How are you going to defend Antonio Williams running down the middle of the field? And if the answer is turn and run with Harold Perkins, then Harold Perkins better be the best athlete to have played college football over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And that's why he's my X factor, because if he is that, hey, they've got an answer there, and Clemson's defense or Clemson's offense is going to have trouble.
I'm not saying he can't be Isaiah Simmons in college.
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons worked in college.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Simmons is not working in pro ball because that's a different level. So I'm with you. It can work. It's just it hasn't over the last since Isaiah. Since Isaiah, it has not worked. I would argue that Clemson, ironically enough, tried it with Barrett Carter.
Would you throw Jamal Adams in that category?
No, he played box safety.
He was strong
That's
safety.
just that he played a no different of a position, in my opinion, than Minka, than all of these, than Honey Badger, than all of these. He's too good not to be close to the box than what Caleb Downs is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're just too good and too impactful to not be around hovering in the low hole. So yeah, there's that.
I'll be real quick with this. The X factor for me is the other running back. I think Adam Randall for Clemson is the bigger part of this game for them, because I know that Cade Klubnik can add in on the run game, but I don't want him doing that. I don't want him running the football with a field that has Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins on there. I don't want my starting quarterback doing that. So if we can establish a run game, can Clemson do that with Adam Randall? I think that increases their position in this football game.
Boys, I got Garrett Nussmeier, the Nuss Bus, and Cade Klubnik throwing for a combined 600 yards on Saturday. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
I like that. You know what? I didn't want to make this my unless it doesn't happen take, but getting the national temperature and just judging by everyone else is saying this is going to be it. Clemson does not defend Death Valley. LSU breaks the streak, and here's why. Dabo Swinney is winless in his last 6 matchups against ranked SEC teams.
Talk to him.
In those 6 games, the offense has averaged just 13.8 points a game.
Buns.
Meanwhile, opponents are averaging nearly 30 points per game. Everyone wants to talk about Brian Kelly and how they can't win the Week 1 game. Dabo Swinney's problems against ranked SEC teams date back to 2019. I'm going LSU winning this game. You heard it here first, unless it doesn't happen.
Hey, be quick with the score predictions because Georgia fans are already crapping on us for running long on the national hour here on the live stream. I got Clemson winning this football game 27-24.
Same note. I got Clemson 27-24. And they don't hate me for this one, Brooks. Unless it doesn't happen, this game screams to me that there's going to be a crucial special teams error that costs the game.
Ooh, I love that.
Muff punt.
Does Clemson have a field goal kicker? I feel like they haven't in 10 years.
I don't know, but special teams is going to cost somebody in this game.
LSU 27-23. That's my prediction.
Ooh. Clemson, LSU?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, we got a whole nother hour coming up after the break, and it is a loaded local hour. We'll talk to you on the other side.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? Really like that. You really like that?
Let's shut up and grab some tape.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Guide Network on what is set to be another loaded hour here live on the channel. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button and firing off into the chat. It's been a great night for Super Chubs. Hope to see that continue here on the local hour. We got a great one for you. We got warm off the presser as Kirby Smart spoke to the media for the first time during a game week today. We have a Georgia football or high school football recap for you guys tonight as well. Saw a couple of big time prospects. We also, thanks to friend of the show, Matt DeBerry, and the folks over at Dog Post, have gotten access to show you guys the new Jared Curtis film, or at least snippets of it. He's going to have a full clip over there on Dog Post soon, I would imagine. So shout out to Matt DeBerry and those folks over there, the homie Dean Leggy. Always good to us here on this network, always have been. So we appreciate those guys. And of course, we're going to give you our Georgia predictions against Marshall this weekend.
Ooh,
I feel like that was the most pressing topic.
I wonder if we're all going to pick the same team.
I mean, I got Marshall pulling off the upset. Don't y'all? I mean,
No.
Scrappy bunch from the herd.
We'll save it for the segment.
I think. I don't know much about them.
Way to spoil a segment.
Which we're going to talk about tonight. But yeah, where do y'all want to start? Do y'all want to start with this Kirby Smart press conference?
Yeah, we always
do.
go off the pressers first.
Hey, did you like the SEC pullover today?
I did, actually.
That thing was crispy.
That was very nice. It's so funny how sometimes Kirby Smart
the
comes
loafers
out,
on today.
It's like, man, Kirby looks fitted today. Another time is like, has that been in your closet?
Dare I say he had that on today? You know?
Oh, you know when he pulls out the faded windbreaker?
Oh, that's tomorrow.
He's
tomorrow's the faded practice windbreaker with the visor on and post press conference limp. That is all day.
That means
tomorrow.
Kirby's officially in the trenches.
Like I was saying, like some days, like my God, he looks like he just came from a banquet, and the other days it's like, was that like set on fire in your closet?
Today was Coors Banquet beer Kirby. Today was Banquet Kirby for sure. Had the SEC quarter zip on, had the slacks, had the pennies on. My man had it on today.
Did he have the pennies in the shoes?
No. I feel like that's played. I feel like nobody's putting the pennies in the loafers anymore. My first pair of pennies had the pennies in the penny loafers.
For sure.
My mom put me on game early.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but not anymore. The loafers sitting upstairs ain't got the penny in them. Is that in? Should I put that? Or is that just like personal?
I think it's just personal preference. I don't think it makes big enough.
Do you put a fresh copper shiny one in there, or do you put a faded one?
I don't have penny loafers, actually.
I don't own them either.
Hey, this game is about us. It's about how we play. It's not about the opponent. It's about us. It's about how we play. It's about how we execute. It's about going out there and playing to the standard. That's what he talked about today in his opening press conference. All right. And I got first question of the day. All right. And I said, Coach, how do you go about preparing for a football team that we know nothing about? I mean, you look at the R lads on this Marshall football team, and it's like, hey, which one of y'all was here last year? Like 5 of you. It's a brand new football team. It's a brand new coaching staff. It's a brand new offensive coordinator, brand new defense coordinator. What in the hell are you preparing for? You know what I mean? How do you go about preparing for this football team? And that's what he said. Hey, first and foremost, you got to start with yourself. How do you run the ball? How do you stop the run? How do you strike? How do you block? Right? All that good stuff. Making sure you're not sloppy, right? First game of the season, a lot of people are going to have pre-snap penalties. How do we make sure we're ready and cleaned up and not playing a sloppy brand of football, right? He said he doesn't know if he's ever seen a roster like this, which I concur. I don't know if I've ever gone into week 1 and looked at an opponent like this and said, well, I just don't have any earthly idea about this football team. He said first games all over the country will be about adjustments, but probably a little bit more with these guys, right? Finding out what they're doing and responding to it. Was asked about the resiliency with Jordan Hall. Said Jordan got rods put in both of his legs.
Yeah, this presser made me remember that. Like, oh my God, it did. Like rods in your legs.
Not a painless thing. You know what I mean?
No.
And that's what he kind of connoted was that, hey man, this is a pressurized position. Every time he takes a snap, he's under a heavy weight load, right? He's got a lot of weight and bearing on those bones and on those structures. I about just did it. So there's that. And said, I learned a lot about his resiliency last year. Okay. Was asked about the 3-9 or the 9-game SEC schedule. Said there's 3 more games than before, right? Or actually, this is actually about practice. 3 more games before the game. Mm-hmm. Was asked about, position battles. Coach, how much you got left? You made any decisions? I told the guys, we got 3 more games before the game, right? We got today, we got tomorrow, and we got Thursday to go out there there and figure out some answers. And then he continued to say, man, like, hey, we're going to have position battles continuing out through the year, and mention if you're going to play winning football, we are going to play you, right? We know this because we know how their recruiting process goes, right? How their identification of athletes goes. How do they evaluate at Georgia? They don't scale on, we think this guy's a 5-star athlete, we think this guy's a 4-star athlete, we think yada, yada, yada. No, they scale and project based off winning football. Do we think this guy could come in, baseline, bare minimum, and play winning football? Yes. Okay, we can evaluate him. Do we think he is above average and going to play above winning grade football? He's a W+. Absolutely. Do we think this guy's got an opportunity to be a borderline all-SEC guy? Do we think this guy's got a chance to be an All-American, right? That's how they kind of project and they place value on football players. So I believe him when he tells me if you reach winnable, playable grade in practice, we're going to play you. You know how I know this? I watched for years them play seemingly 9 offensive linemen, all to my disagreement, all to my coming to this board saying, what are we? Play a type 5, coach, please. Can you give me a 5-man rotation that I know is going to build some rapport together? No. We want to play all 8. We think we've got 8 winnable players. When they have winnable players, they play them all.
Yeah, I think the takeaway I had from that entire statement was 2 things. One, the position battles never end.
Yeah.
It's whether it's game 1 or game 6 or 7, you are still fighting for a position. And we've seen this time and time again. We've seen a starter change, in the 5th game of the season, things like that. The other takeaway is he treats scrimmages like games, like real games. He called them games. He called the scrimmages games. And I would assume that's what he meant when he says we have 3 more games beforehand.
He's talking about practice.
Right, but practice, he treats them like a game.
Yeah.
And you'd imagine they're doing some inter-squad scrimmages at some point in the practice. Mm-hmm. So that was an interesting takeaway.
Some good on good, as we call it in the football world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that. Who you are is on your tape. It's your resume, especially at the line of scrimmage positions. He was asked basically like, what are you looking for from your line of scrimmage on both sides of the football on Saturday? And his answer was, I think I know who they are. They are what they show me on tape every single day during practice. There ain't no thud period at the line of scrimmage. All right. If you're going to play offensive line, defensive line in college, every practice is a war. And I think that's what he said today. Every day is a war on the line of scrimmage. Every day is about strain. Every day is about footwork. Every day is about winning the line of scrimmage. There is no thudding that. There is no, we're playing half speed today, we're brother-in-law and everybody. No. You are who you are. As an offensive lineman, there's no, I got to get ready for full speed football. No, bullcrap. I've been playing full speed football since the moment we put helmets on, not even shoulder pads. We've been playing full speed football since RIP. So there's that. Running back still by committee. Didn't expect anything there. Brett Thorson, this is still interesting. Quote, he has continued to kick. I don't know if he's going to be kicking in this game. He hasn't done any live kicking.
What? I know he kind of delineated like, oh, we don't go hit the punters, but what is live kicking?
Put your cleats on, go out there and jog and cover a punt maybe.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like when we do, here's what I think he means. They don't do live kicking is what you're talking about. And you mentioned that they don't actually tackle or block the punt or whatever. I think what he's saying is when we do special teams period and we have the ones punting unit out there, I don't think Brett's done any punting with those guys. That's what that statement to me sounds like.
Interesting.
Would you agree?
It sounds
That's what it sounds like to me, yeah.
And honestly, I don't know if I want to give this take right now, but it's not the end of the world if Brett Thorson doesn't play in this game.
No. I mean, I'm not afraid to give that take. I don't think it's the end of the world if Brett Thorson finds a way to get a medical this year.
No, not at all. I mean, look, and it's been 8-ish months since it happened. Yeah. So, like, we're still not exactly nearing a typical timeline. Now, it has been expedited a little bit, but I think that people are recovering from them rather quickly. But I think that you can be patient with Brett Thorson. It's not an urgent need to make sure that he's your starting punter going into every Saturday. As great as he is, it also seems like that they have a lot of trust in Drew Miller as well.
Very much.
We've been talking about Friday Night's Mic'd and needing somebody to step up and love high school football as much as we do. I just got a text message. It's official. We just sold Friday Night's Mike to a sponsor that I'm excited. I'm excited about all my sponsors. I'm really stoked about this one. And I'm really stoked about the Friday Night's Mike project that we do. That is a love ballad. That is a love ballad to high school football. That is a love ballad to football as a whole. And to be honest with you, I think we're going to try to make a way to make that a live stream for you guys. And I am stoked about that opportunity moving forward. So, and I've made the decision, we're making that leap that we talked about pregame because we just signed this. We're going to get this official, and then we're going to make that leap, and we're going to try to do something that ain't nobody in this space is doing, only for them to turn around and try to do it. But that's okay. We're going to do it better. All right? Man, I'm stoked about that one. All right, let's continue these Kirby Smart press conferences. What do you think his running metric is? You my stat guy. What do you think his main metric to look at in terms of running the football?
Yards before contact?
Yards per carry. It's an efficiency thing for him. It's not about, and this is an old
yards
Georgia
before
adage,
contact
right?
is a good one though.
Well, yards after contact is a huge
Yards before contact. I would say that's more important.
I figured too, like that's a stat that you typically don't get on the internet. So I figured that they got a stat like, how's our offensive line working? Is our running back making a good job of finding the right gap?
That's beautiful. I like that. Yards before contact. We might need to start tracking that. Intern, get on that. Start tracking yards before contact all across college football.
Have fun. Good thing you're AI and you can just do it automatically.
Yeah, good thing you can just right out. Absorb it, spit it out, AI. That's what it's all about right there. No, it's the yards per carry metric, right? All he cares about is the efficiency in the run game, right? It's not just about, quote, running the ball better. It's about running the ball more efficiently. You don't just want to go out there and say, hey, we're running the ball 45 times a day no matter what. Right? They are very much so a take what you give me offense. Here's what the defense is allowing, or here's where the defense is vulnerable. Let's attack them there. I think the key this year for you guys is to force the hand a little bit and make them vulnerable in play action. I think that's the major key this year for you guys. Success on Saturday. All right, what does it look like offensively? Said they have 15 to 20 goals every single Saturday for offensive success. Wow. It's all different metrics. Like, hey, and it's all standards is what it is. We have a standard that we want to meet on third down. We have a standard on first down. We have a standard yards per game. We have a standard in the red zone, right? All of these different metrics that they have connoted, this is good football.
And I will do a behind the curtain thing for you because I've been in Buttsmere a few times. They have the big TVs set out. It's outside the lounge, and there's a big chart of did you do this, and it's opponents. Like you said, it's 15 chart. Whether it's no turnovers, third down conversion rate, no opponent doesn't score more than 3 touchdowns, opponent has less than 10 yards per attempt, stuff like that they very clearly studied and said these are points of emphasis for this game. These are important metrics for us. I think that's what Kirby Smart, and I can tell you that's what he was meaning when he said we have these goals. I think he's texting the new sponsor.
Crazy, we're in season. Usually off season's up to something season, but we're to the point where in season is still up to something season. We're evolving, Kirby.
Yeah,
it's pretty exciting.
I'm totally fine with that, dude. I'm fine with evolving mid-season, hitting mid-season form, early season.
Do you think going into the week 1 matchup though, like the standard, like the goals for like? Nothing against Marshall, but it's not your typical like SEC opponent. Like, do you think it's just like standard typical goals, or do you think it's anything specific to what they try and do? Because as Kirby mentioned, if you go look at the depth chart, it is probably like 40 transfers on this roster. It is a very new team. So I don't know how you go about trying to figure out what their identity is going into this year.
So Brooks can correct me if I'm wrong if he's listening to this. I feel like these types of games are far less analytical when it comes to how Georgia views them as success, because the reality is you should outgain the Marshalls of the world. You should outscore the Marshalls of the world. You should win the turnover battle against the Marshalls of the world, all of these things. What I would do if I was a coach in these situations is deep dive the film. How are we going about executing these plays? Who's missing steps? Who's busting? Who's doing things like that? That matters more in my opinion.
The goal, now they'll never say this. In fact, he was asked about this, and he says it's what do you call it? It would be I don't know what his word was. It's bad news to be doing this. You're not allowed to do this. But the goal in this football game is to get the backups on the field and get a lot of reps with them. All right. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. But the days of we got a lot of opportunities to play the young guys are few and far between, and they're going to be fewer and farther in between moving forward as you go to 9 and as you got Ohio State and Clemson out of conference and you got all of these real football games on your schedule. We cannot be up 14-0 going into half of this football game. There's just no way. You have got to be able to dedicate this second half to the future of your football team, or else you're going to be doing the same thing you did all offseason this year, talking about we have a really low snap count for guys that are in their first year starting. All right? You've got to handle these football games.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Well, especially considering like what you didn't do last year in these football games. And like I think that kind of cost you something going into this offseason. Not even last year, but it cost you extra Gunnar Stockton reps. It cost you so many reps for the guys behind them.
This is why I couldn't find this word in my head. It's too big. Presumptuous to assume that the backups would get in, is what Kirby said. You go in preparing the ones and preparing the twos to play in case the ones get hurt. That's what you do. You don't tell the twos, you better play because this might be one of your, or you better practice hard because this might be one of your only, few opportunities to get in a blowout this year. That's bad tactics. Was asked about the guard competition. Said those guys have been really competitive. We have a young player that showed up and is playing really well, and older guys that continue to show promising spurts. Was then asked about playing freshmen and did a classic stumbling over a Southern euphemism like I do on this network all of the time. Was trying to basically say it is what it is, and then basically went into the glass is half full, half empty euphemism and stumbled. It's a half a glass of water. It is what it is. If you're playing young guys, it doesn't say anything negative about the old guys. It doesn't say all the great things about the young guy. It just is what it is.
Gotcha.
Glass half full.
I honestly was surprised by this.
Water.
I was surprised by this answer. Not really because it is a classic Kirby Smart answer, but from a just longevity standpoint, it is an advantage to play the younger guys. Because when you started KJ Bolden last year, guess what? You're guaranteed 2 more years of KJ Bolden, barring some disastrous transfer portal entry, but that's modern college football. So I was a little bit surprised by the answer, but I also completely understand why Kirby answered it that way.
Not as surprised by that answer as, I think everyone wants us to have 36 playoff teams.
Yeah,
just let everybody in. That's what we all want. We all want a 64-team playoff. That's what my constituents want. That's what my fan base wants.
That was one of the more surprising Kirby Smart moments I've been a part of.
Looping me into that one's crazy. These guys got jokes, man. These guys get the show. Yeah, man.
Are they watching right now?
I don't know if they're watching right now, but these guys get the show.
That's the kind of sponsor you want.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brand alignment. That's what we're looking for, man. We're looking for brand alignment. Speaking of what we're looking for, I'm looking for Dylan Bell to get back to a hybrid role. I'm looking for Dylan Bell to get back comfortable playing football. He didn't look very comfortable last year, did he?
No one on that offense did.
No, he didn't. Well, it was asked about Dylan Bell today. Said, what do you think of when you think of Dylan Bell? Size, toughness, and experience. Can line up everywhere on the field. More than anything, he embodies what we want at that position. Dylan is a really good football player. Get him back comfortable, man. Get him back comfortable doing the things that he is used to doing.
He's one of those guys. He's a game breaker. He's not necessarily
Man, they're juiced as we are for the start of college football, man.
The chat is juiced for football season. Man. Good Lord.
Be able to keep the lights on for a month. Carl Wind. Just breaking it. Is that a new record? No, I think we had a $200 super sub a couple years back.
I think the record's 500.
Yeah, that's right. The record is 500. Dedicated to the fine folks on the Discord and Patreon. What's the O-line 2 to 4 year outlook if you could make an all-time O-line travel squad? Which 9 players would you choose? Go Dogs. All right, let's sidetrack every mission that we got going on right now and answer this here question. All right, travel squad of 8 is nice and simple. Center, we got Cedric Van Pray, and that's 1. All right, both tackles, we got Andrew Thomas, so let's go Broad Jones. That's 3. 3 guys total. Let's give a swing player, Isaiah Wynn, to play both tackle spots if either of those guys get hurt. Let's go interior guard position. Let's go Tate Ratledge is 5. Give me Solomon, or no. Give me Jamari Sawyer is 6 at the other guard spot. I'll take Ben Cleveland as a swing player. And then I got one more for a travel squad 8. Who's missing in this? Who's a great that's missing here? Oh, Dylan Fairchild. That's a tight 8 right there.
There you
Give
go.
me those 8 offensive linemen. We'll be balling. Now, 2 to 4 year outlook. For 2 more years, I think we know what your tackle spots look like. Next year, it's going to be Juan Gaston or Monroe Feeling at left tackle, the other one at right tackle. So your tackle spots locked up solid, as is the next 3 years, I believe, at center with Drew Bobo. They've got an opportunity to see 3
He's got
years,
3 years
for him
eligibility
starting. I think he's a redshirt freshman this year. So yeah, you got that going on. Or maybe a redshirt sophomore. Either way, you got this year and the next 2 with Drew Bobo, because I don't think that's an early declare guy. Breaking news there. So
Redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt sophomore.
Okay.
That leaves us at the 2 guard spots. At some point, I got money on my man.
Daniel Calhoun.
No, from
Michael
Langston
Nye.
Hughes. Donnie Glover.
Oh, Donnie
I got my
Glover.
man Donnie Glover winning a job at some point over the next 4 years on that interior of this offensive line. Cortez Smith going to start and play at some point over the next several years as well. And I'm trying to think of this. I don't know if in the next 2 years anybody from this current signing class in 2026 is starting for you. I think those are 5 guys that you've got committed right now that are going to be playing for you in 3 or 4 years from now down the road. So I think I did a good enough job of answering that question.
Yeah, I would say so.
Shout out to Carl Wynn, man. That's big time right there. Let's continue on these press conference notes. Colby Young been the leader throughout at the wide receiver position. Says he practices hard, puts in really good days of work, can block, has been a great vertical jump ball threat throughout fall camp. And, for that matter, all of spring.
That's exactly what you want to hear from that. I mean, a guy that is winning 50-50 balls. And by the way, blocking. Receiver blocking was not up to par last year, and I think that goes under the radar with everything else that was going on. So that's big news if Colby Young is doing all of those things and checking those boxes.
Number 1 trait you want in a leader. Any ideas what it is?
Consistency.
It's a good guess. It's a good guess.
I watched the pressure cell.
Not worrying about what other people are thinking about you and committing to the standard around here. The last one, a little bit of a layup. The first one, I guess leaders don't care what other people think about them.
It's an interesting take. And I know what Kirby Smart means by that, because if you listen to the outside noise and all those things.
I think that's more of it. It's like, don't let don't go not doing the right thing because you're worried about what other people are thinking.
Exactly.
I get what he's applying.
I think that.
But don't great leaders take into account how others feel?
Oh, absolutely.
Not to get too meta here.
No, absolutely. And I think if Kirby Smart was sitting here and we had that conversation,
if
he
it
would
wasn't
say
a sound
absolutely.
bite, we could have this full-throated conversation.
Because, I mean, like we've talked about before, there is very, very real evidence that Kirby Smart handled different players differently. We don't have to name specific names or talk about specifics, but that's up there as to, who does that. And Kirby Smart has changed his demeanor, and we've talked about that before. So I think that's what Kirby Smart means. And it's obvious he also doesn't care what people think about him.
Carl's last name?
Wynn.
Carl Wynn.
W-Y-N-N.
We're going to put it right here. Thank you, Carl. That's a big dub for Carl. W-I-N-N?
W-Y-N-N.
Y-N-N, spelled like Isaiah. We love that. Carl Wynn. Hey, boys, I got a phone call from a mother of a football player who I guess you would say discovered. Got him his first offer in college football. She called me today because an NFL scout called them for the first time, interested in their young man. And she believes, I don't believe this, she believes that I had part to do with that. I think this young man would have been found no matter what. But man, that's the first time in my life I've gotten that phone call of a mother saying, thank you. Like, thank you for doing this.
It's got to be a good feeling.
It was, and honestly, it was the first. I'm standing on this table. I'm going to stand on this table, and I'm going to call every coach that I know until this kid gets an offer. And we've done it several times over since then. But man, that was a good phone call to get this morning. Zach Branch, high energy and loves football, loves working out, loves playing football. Excited to see him play. He's had a really, really good camp. We love to see that from Zach Branch. I think he's going to be the leading receptions getter this year for Georgia.
That's why I picked him.
Yep. Wide receivers on special teams unit more so than any other position on the roster.
Got so many of them.
And look, man, like, you want to earn some playing time at receiver, go take somebody's head off on punt. I mean,
yeah, for real.
It works like that at Georgia. Honest to God, like, if we've got 9 guys to play and only 5 of them are in the rotation and you're number 6, Go do something on special teams. Find out if you're number 5 next week. Like, we're going to reward that type of stuff at this university.
Yeah, no, that's something they've always put emphasis on. And I think it's because it shows that you can perform in moments when you're needed.
Yeah.
If you're going to show up for special teams and you're going to give your all for this, for a non-glorious position, for a non-glorious part of the game, that really helps to say, hey, wait a minute, when we can go to this guy because he's been working so hard. So
absolutely slammed.
We might as well just scrap the show notes, let the chat chime in and give us.
Let the Super Chubs just take it away tonight. Keeping the love going. Congrats on 54K, says Gas Dog MD. Is that double down theory right there for Gas Dog MD?
Oh,
That's nice tonight from Gas Dog. Shout out to Gas Dog tonight. Let's hit some of these Super Chub questions right here. 2 questions from Cyber Proxy. 1, if the line for Puglisi's total touchdown passes this year is 4.5, would you lean over or under? I think he's going to get in most of these garbage time opportunities, and that's normally we give you 1 possession and then you're out there handing the ball off.
But we also talked about how more than ever Ryan Puglisi is a guy that needs to be prepared to take one's reps. Right. They're going to give him some real burn if he gets in the game.
That's 3 weeks of a high ankle sprain for Gunner from Cashin right there. I mean, that very well could happen.
Not to put that in the ether.
No, not to put that. Like it's a reality, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a reality. You have a 210-pound quarterback that plays like he's built like a superhuman. Question number 2. You know the Dogs are better than anyone if Puglisi tosses 5 or more touchdowns this season. What's more likely? Injury fill in, blowout reps, or something bigger. If he throws for 5 or more touchdowns, you're probably in some type of injury fill-in mode right there, I would imagine.
Yes.
I'm going to go fill-in reps. I think that they're going to give Ryan Puglisi. Let's just play devil's advocate here. The 3 games that Georgia should be able to put 2s in. There's 3 of them this season. I'm not going to name the opponents because you can do that on your own. If Ryan Puglisi gets 7 full drives out of those, where it's we are letting you run the offense because we need to make sure you are ready in case that happens, I like that. I'll take the over on that. On top of the garbage times, on top of all that.
I asked him about Marshall's roster again. All he really highlighted to me was the running backs.
Yeah.
Did you get anything else out of that?
No. That was the only position he was like, they have some really good backs.
They got good backs.
Yep.
You know what really helps this scouting department right about now? Catapult and Exos and PFF. Not to get too deep in the weeds here, but I guarantee you they have individual film cut-ups of every single one of these transfers that's projected to start for Marshall. And back in the day, you're just not going that deep. Like nowadays, guys, like for example, when Tyke Smith transferred into the University of Georgia, when they were scouting him, he's coming from a West Virginia system where they've got him playing deep safety in a quarters system. Georgia's going to ask him to play star. So he's doing stuff on down-to-down basis at West Virginia that they would never ask him to do at Georgia because they wanted him to play a different position. So how do you go about scouting that? Well, because of the advanced scouting tools that they have nowadays, they had an opportunity to go through every single game Tyke Smith has had and said, all right, I want to only look at the clips in which he was asked to play man-to-man bump and run coverage. And then boom, all 114 of those plays out of the tens of thousands of snaps that he's played, now they can sit through and click through all of those things. So I guarantee you, when they look at this Marshall roster and it's filled with ambiguity, it's filled with, I don't know anything about this guy, or I don't know what it's going to look like here. Well, I can watch what it looked like last time. Now, I might not be able to get a schematical breakdown of who Marshall is, but I damn sure better be able to know who the players are when they come to town. And that's what's available nowadays. So, yeah, we don't know if they're going to be a 4-2-5. We don't know if they're going to be a 3-3-5. But we know who their bodies are, right? We know that this nickel, if we get him in a one-on-one, is short on the speed, right? We know that this linebacker can be manipulated. We watched it on tape. You see what I'm saying? They have far more of an advantage nowadays when they go face a random opponent like this than they would in years prior.
How much do you think that slows down your scouting process, though?
Speeds it up. Dude,
but no. For when you have to go, okay, we don't just have to scout these 11 players out on the field. We gotta go.
This singular example.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go find tape for 9 different guys
to be as fully prepared for this matchup. It's going to be the hardest study from a who are they going to be standpoint all year. This is as foreign of a football team as you're ever going to prepare for. Now, the good news is you can probably line up and play football against this roster.
Probably.
You better be able to.
You better
be able to line up, say, okay, well, today they're playing 4-2-5. let's go throw the sink at that. Like, you better be able to do that.
Just for reference on the running backs that Kirby is talking about from Marshall, there is Tony Mathis Jr., who played at Houston in 2023, who had 41 carries and 170 yards.
You know who their quarterback is, don't you? Sorry to cut you
Marshall?
off on the running back. It's Carlos Del Rio, the former Florida commit.
Yes.
So go ahead.
And then their other running back, Michael Allen, played at UNLV last year, had 19 carries for 108 yards. So even then, it doesn't seem like there's like a whole lot of film. But these are like veteran players who have gotten playing time at other schools as well. So there's an abundance of film, but not like an abundance of like in-season work.
Chat's asking for a comp on the competitive nature of Gunnar Stockton. I think it's Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
I think that spark, that fire, like, people are going to compare him to Stetson. Stetson wasn't this fiery competitor. Stetson was, call me when I'm beating your butt against Tennessee, but that's about all we ever got from him.
Flex on the Chargers sideline.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get a whole bunch of like out of body experiences.
I'll say this:
I've seen Gunnar compete. There's a lot of out of body experiences from that guy.
From a competitive standpoint, most definitely Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Personality is not Baker.
No. In between the whistles, Kirby, it is. Yeah. I watched this dude throw a football out of the stadium in high school when he scored. Like, I watched this dude turn around and backpedal into the end zone when a safety was trying to run him down. Like, this dude's got some about him. All right, he's this happy-go-lucky, I got cows on my farm guy. And then when the whistle's starting to blow, he's the baddest mother on the planet in his own mind's right. Like, that is who this guy is. All right, so that's why. Now, he don't throw the football like Baker, but he's gonna grab his nuts pregame if you talk crap. Like, that's what this guy's gonna do.
We've also got a super chub from Hunter Ragland. Over under Peanut has 350 total yards in the regular season. I'm hammering the over on that.
I might hammer that this weekend, and unless it doesn't happen.
Good God.
I got Peanut Tillman. I got Peanut Phillips going for 250-yard explosives this weekend.
You heard what Jordan Hall said they called?
You heard it here first. What?
Did you stay for Jordan Hall's presser?
Yeah.
Did you hear what they called him?
No, it must have slipped.
They call him Lil Nut.
We love that. That's a Film Guy approved network, or Film Guy Network approved nickname, Lil Nut. So we're going to call him Lil Nut on here.
No, we're not.
That's not Little Nut. No, hey, if his teammates call him that, we're going to call him that.
No.
How about Lil Peanut? Is that better for you?
How about we just call him Peanut?
How about we call him Lil Nut? How you going to defy the man's nickname?
Because we're not his teammates.
I don't know if we've heard.
By a show of hands, who approves us calling him Lil Nut?
I don't know, man. That's a personal thing. That's like if everyone's got if you got that one guy you don't know, everyone's calling him that, and you call him that, it's like you don't know me like that. You don't get to call me that. Yeah,
we're not friends like that. It's like Brooksy for me. You don't get to call me Brooksy.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if you saw Dwight Phillips in person, are you calling him Lil Nut?
Hey, there go Lil Nut.
No. You might call him Peanut.
Like, hey, what's up, Peanut?
But you are most definitely not calling him Lil Nut.
Chat's down for it. Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Anarchy. I don't know what it means, but I love it.
I had to rewatch that movie.
It's a great one.
Very rewatchable.
I'm going to break you like wild horses, ain't you, Granny? Hey, guys, we got new Curtis tape.
Ooh, yeah, we
do. This is courtesy of our friend Matt DeBerry over at Dog Post. Now, Matt, if you're listening tonight, I do believe the folks at Dog Post are going to give a full film highlight of his game when they went up there last weekend. And I will also tell you, barring any type of injury, we will be doing a Friday Night Mic'd episode from the sideline, injury and access, from the sideline of one of his high school football games this year. We're aiming for that Knoxville trip. When we go up to Tennessee, we're going to go to East Tennessee and see him play, and then go up there to Knoxville for that night game between Georgia and Tennessee.
It's a 3:30 kick, by the way.
3:30 kick for that game. It's 4 hours. We looked it up. From Curtis's high school where they're playing that night to Knoxville. Not too bad.
So like doubles the road trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's double road trip.
All right.
Well, really like a road trip and a half. You know? So we got that
it's
going.
about what we did for the Kentucky trip.
Doing Indy and New Orleans in a 3-month span, I can handle it.
All right, let's go watch this tape. Now, I had a segment in here where I was going to walk you through the future plans at the quarterback position. I'm going to move that segment up to right now. Here's what I think Georgia's plans are at the quarterback position moving forward. 26 is obvious, right? This guy. Okay, you're going to sign and deliver this dude to Athens, and it's going to cost you a lot less than it probably should have. So that's good news, number one. In 2027, you were going to kick the tires on Kareem Hughley up there at Gainesville. That mission is gone. All right, now he's a Clemson Tiger. You were going to kick the tires on Teddy Gerard, which we'll talk more about. That one's gone, going to Notre Dame. So I honestly think you're going to take 2027 off. I think you should take 2027 off. In 2028, we're going to show you this guy tonight as well. I think you're in the very front-running seat, the driver's seat for Jaden Wade in 2028. And this guy's great. That guy is going to be great too. I think Jaden Wade's going to be ranked the #1 player in America in 2028 if it's not Casey Barner, who we're also going to talk about tonight. Okay, so Jared Curtis, I think probably smart to take a year off, go all in on Jaden Wade because he's worth it. Let's take a look at this clip.
Hey, we got another valid interruption of the show from Blake Norman, who donated $100. Love the grind and the fire, passion, energy y'all bring every day. Go Dogs! Already on the board. Who scores the first Who scores the first TD and who gets the first turnover?
First touchdown, Colby Young on a field fade. First turnover. Let's give it to Dalen Everett.
I like both of those.
Hey. I mean, we're going to break records tonight, boys.
We probably already have.
Gosh dang. Let's break down this here tape right quick while we breaking records. Now, this first toss, it's a dart.
Beautiful.
All right. Now, number 14 is his guy. We're going to see him quite a bit on this film study tonight. It's great camera work right there by our man Matt DeBerry as well. Let's see if we can get a slow-mo here of this delivery. Let's go play speed. Give it to me half. All right. Let's spin it back so you can see the platform. All right. First and foremost, love that we step off the midline right there, right? We're not straight. We're not closing ourselves off. Let's see if we keep that left side tight. You already know that we did right there. That left arm holding tight. Now, what else I love about this, Jonathan and folks at home, what are we not doing? We're not leaning left at all, are we? All that momentum is stop firm, and we could drive a stick right down the body, right? We could drive a stick right down his spine, and it's not going to be tilting one way or the other. There is a reason why this guy's a really, really talented thrower of the football. It's not just because he's a tank, and he is a tank. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. This dude is a massive human, okay? It's a great ball right there from him. Let's put this speed back up so we can get after it a little bit more. Hey, matter of fact, go ahead and hand me that keyboard there, Jay Will. All right. Here we go, another look at it right here. Oh, this is a scramble, isn't it?
Yeah, this is one of those.
Now, okay, we're making somebody miss. Now, I know what you're about to get into, Timmy Tyler, high school competition, we know.
Well, I was going to say, it's good to see that he's athletic. It's good to see that. It's also fair to analyze and say, probably not happening on Saturday.
Right? Do we look like this on a Saturday field? I don't think so. Now, here's the deal, okay? Josh Allen, we all agree, is plenty athletic enough to extend with his legs in pro football.
100%.
And he's big enough to make you question whether or not you're going to hit him when he get there. And he's physical enough to be a physical runner and protect himself with the ball. He's a 4.72 athlete, I believe. Will you pull up the combine 40 time on Josh Allen? I think he's like a 4.72, 4.75 guy. I think this guy's about that range. I think he's probably going to run 4.78, 4.75 by the time all is said and done. And when you're 230 pounds, that's plenty damn fast. What do you got for me?
4.75.
4.75. Ball knower. All right, so here's the deal. We ain't got to be super twitchy. We just got to be physical, and we just caught a dead body over there on the sideline. Now, this throw right here is bonkers.
That's the highlight of the clip.
This throw right here is bonkers. And, hey, let's do the pause test on him. Look at those shoulders, guys. Look how square those shoulders are. Rolling right, flipping this ball, man. That ball is spit on. We get a couple of looks at this. Whew. This ball's ripped too. Now, I do think we are leaning a little bit here, and I think that's why we missed this ball just a tad bit. We're leaning right because of pressure right there.
Correct.
All right? And we missed that ball right. That's the only reason we missed that ball right. Great catch by 14, man.
Yeah, sit down, Grandma.
Yeah, bro. We're trying to watch Jared Curtis. Sit down. Directing traffic and then layering over that. Now, he does throw a pick later in the football game, and there is some stuff that we're going to have to – I think we have to clean this up. I think we have to talk when we get to college take your butt out of bounds, throw it out of bounds. Don't be throwing over underneath defenders that got their eyes on you when we get to college.
Yeah, and is this a product of having basically no repercussions for this type of play based on the competition?
And look, there still are. Like, he threw a pick in this football game. It's a doing too much interception. Okay, I saw the clip of it. It's him extending plays, seeing that a guy's wide open, not realizing that the dude behind him, 10 yards behind him, 40 yards downfield, has plenty of time to drive down on that ball by the time it gets there, despite the fact that you're a one-of-one thrower. And everything I've ever seen of this guy confirms everything about him. He is a one-of-one thrower. I truly have not seen anything with the level of velocity and RPMs that this guy puts on tape. That, to me, includes Caleb Williams. Like, Caleb's got a bunch of twitchy stuff and a bunch of arm talent stuff, but from a pure horsepower standpoint, height, weight, speed, how far and how hard can you chunk it, this is one-of-one for me.
Most definitely. Was that all of them?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's all the clips.
That's all the clips, right?
Cool.
All right, we're good there. Shout out again to Matt DeBerry and the folks over there at Dog Post. They don't have to do that, man. They don't have to let us do that. That is their hard-earned work. All right, that's their hard-earned footage. So make sure you're going over there and supporting those guys when you have the opportunity to do so. Let's recap these Friday Night Mic'd episodes. We were over at McEachern High School taking on North Cobb last week, and obviously Teddy Gerard, the starting quarterback at North Cobb. Zach Bellew, the 2028 running back for North Cobb, is a name I think Georgia fans really, really need to hone in on in that 2028 class. When there are blue chip caliber backs in your state, normally you're not only aware of them, but you're the favorite to lead them. I don't know how you feel about Zach Bellew. I know how I feel about him. He's a 15-year-old kid that already looks and built like he's ready to play in college football, and he runs hard as hell. Hard as hell. Loved watching him play on Friday night. The Teddy Gerard thing, I'm going to be honest with you. And if you watch Friday Night Mike, you probably agree with this sentiment. He's going through a serious acclimation period. Coming from North Cobb Christian, I mean, just imagine this, guys. No offense to Geisa High School football. None meant to be taken here. But we go from playing at North Cobb Christian, where we can do anything that we want at any moment. We have all the confidence in the world to do that, to playing 6 Division I football players like that. That's what happened to Teddy Gerard this last week. Teddy Gerard went from playing free to now playing, oh my God, there's Darrell Rivers, the 6'5", 265 Tennessee defensive line commit, and he's going to be on my doorstep in 2.5 seconds. It was a total different game for him on Friday night, and you can see him drinking through a fire hose. I'm not completely out on him yet, but there are some things that, he's got to get ready to play.
Yeah, and I think that, I didn't watch his week 1 game either, but based on the stats from that week 1 game as well, it sounds like it's been a multiple week thing. So maybe a sign that by the end of the season, though, you'll start seeing like, oh, this is why this guy has been recruited by all the powerful schools.
You watching warm-ups, you watching shorts and T-shirts, they don't make them prettier. This is 6'4", 220 pounds, can rip the skin off the football, okay? But when them whistles start flying right about now, and look, this isn't a one-time thing for me. I saw him in the spring during this scrimmage, okay? So there's some growing pains right now that he's going through, as you would expect from any kid making that level of transition.
Yeah, and I mean, like new systems as well and new things like that. Now, granted, you've had an entire off season, but there's a couple of factors that could play into it.
Do we have Jaden Wade?
We do.
We do have Jaden Wade. I want to show y'all this football player. I was made aware of Jaden Wade when he was 13 years old at a 7-on-7 out in L.A. And it wasn't like, hey, this is the next one. It was him walking up to me at 13 years old telling me he's the next one. Okay, this is a young man that's carried himself like a pro from day one. At like 12, 13 years old, he's going to spend all 4 years at IMG Academy, and he's going to come out being a professional football player his first year of college football. This is a dude now. I truly believe this guy's going to be the number 1 player in America in 2028. Jaden Wade. Let's go take a look.
Just based off the few clips that I watched, very effortless throwing motion.
I mean, this is as twitchy and as life-filled of a throwing motion as there is. You are right in that regard, Jonathan. Now, I think this is junior or freshman like JV tape right here, but this dude spins it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Sorry for the grainy footage. All right, spins it and is a great athlete at about 6'4", 210 pounds in this tape. I think he's already grown to 6'5", 215 pounds going into his first year starting at IMG Academy.
He's got active feet, but he doesn't have happy feet.
Correct. But you hit the nail on the head, Jonathan. It's the motion. It's the release. It's the ability to throw the football with this type of talent like he does, man.
Wow.
And having seen him throw live, it is everything you can imagine. I do think there are going to be some, depending on how much of an athlete we develop into, okay, like this right here, I think there's going to be some Bryce Underwood comparisons that get thrown around with this kid. I'm not going to lie to you.
He's 6'4", 190 pounds. 40 is a 4'5".
Yeah, so we're already 6'4", 190 pounds. I bet we're playing closer to 200 this year. And any 40 time you ever hear reported out of IMG, it's legit. They're laser timing these kids at their pro days. He's a legit 4'5" pro day kid. I love that. Do you see the processing of that?
Yeah.
See how quickly we came off of that? This is at 14, guys. Look how quickly we work off this field side. Back over here. We saw that nickel driving down on the bubble and immediately got off of it. You're going to see a run right here. Woo! Yeah, buddy. I'm excited for what this is ultimately going to continue to develop into. Again, this is freshman tape we're watching right here. He's a starter this year at IMG Academy. I believe they're 2-0. I also believe we're going to do our best to get them featured on Friday Night Mike as well this season. If they don't stop, or if they stop playing games on ESPN, maybe we'll go out there. But that's crazy, man. That guy's going to be a damn good football player. And again, I've been made to believe you are in the front seat, or the driver's seat rather, for that recruitment, that, albeit it is very, very early in that one. But I mean, that guy came to Georgia 3 times this summer.
That's promising.
On his own dime. All right. Didn't have to. I mean, I got no reason to be there other than to continue to develop a relationship with, guess who? Mike Bobo.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know how fans feel. I don't know how you guys feel. I really don't. But ain't no way I'm firing an offensive coordinator who's got an opportunity to sign Jared Curtis and then turn around 2 years later and sign Jaden Wade. I don't know how. I don't know how you're out here with the negative criticism. Why? 3rd and 8 draw, Brooks. That's why.
He certainly had a good run of quarterbacks in the 2000s while he was at Georgia as well. Not bad. As an offensive coordinator.
Not bad.
Well, he took over as OC in 2007. Stafford was definitely a...
Hey, we got predictions. Georgia plays football game this weekend. How about that? How about that, chat? Big dubs in the chat for Georgia actually lining it up, teeing it up in between the hedges on Saturday as Marshall comes to town. I believe you're a 36.5 point favorite in this football game. Is that 39 and a half is the latest line in this football game. Boys, let's get after it. Number one key to the matchup for me is simple. You heard it in our early conversations about Kirby Smart's press conference and the recap of that. This is a completely foreign football team to you from Marshall. You have no idea who they're going to start. You have no idea what offense they're going to run. You have no idea what defense they're going to run. So why is it what's most important about this football game? That you adjust. That is the number one key in this ball game for the University of Georgia, and in terms of how much they're going to dominate it. How quickly do you recognize what they're doing and how to attack it on both sides of the football? That's the number one key to dominating this game like you're supposed to.
I agree. I think the other emphasis that we talk about, and it's also a thing that Kirby Smart, I just saw that as well. Kirby Smart talked about how quickly can this Georgia offense start and how soon can you get the next guys up reps. We've talked about before, these are the games that you need to beat the hell out of these teams and do it quickly. And we all talked about last year, the quote-unquote slow starts for Georgia's offense. Being able to see, hey, they're starting fast this year and we get to see a lot of the twos guys getting reps. Good sign. So that's the key to the game.
Man, the key to the matchup is exactly what Kirby Smart has been preaching all offseason. It's stopping the run and it's running the football. I mean,
I thought you were FPE-ing me right now.
Oh, I mean, that comes with it, though.
I thought you were FPE-ing me right now.
If you got to run the football and you got to stop the run, you got to bring the FPE with you, all right? And I don't think it's a coincidence that Kirby Smart mentions that the backs are really good at Marshall. I mean, what he's been talking about again all offseason, stopping the run. And then also, we're running back by committee type of football team. I mean, I don't think that those are coincidences heading into this football matchup. So that's what I expect So that's the key to the matchup, man. You got to be able to run the football, and you also got to be able to stop the run on Saturday.
If I'm Marshall, coming into this football game knowing they have no idea what they're about to get from us, not only do I have game plan A, I've got game plan B. I've got game plan B ready to bring this change up for this football team that has no idea what I'm about to be. So the moment I shock them, the moment they get comfortable, I'm going to be ready with a spinoff. You got to be ready for that if you're the University of Georgia coaching staff out here on Saturday.
You got to be ready for the kitchen sink.
Got to be ready for the kitchen sink. Who's the X factor in this football game?
I got Chauncey Bowens.
Oh,
I say this because kind of knowing what Georgia did a little bit this preseason, I think that, like, you know what you have in Nate Frazier, and Nate Frazier's a great back, and he's going to get his fair share of attempts on Saturday. But I think that there's going to come a point in time in this football game where it's, let's see what Chauncey's got. Let's see what Bo Walker's got. Let's see what the rest of these guys have. And that means that Chauncey Bowens is going to get an ample amount of opportunities this weekend. I could see him having a very big game.
I put mine. It's an interesting pick, but I put Daniel Harris. I think the way Daniel Harris plays in this game is going to dictate what that room looks like for the remainder of the season. Now, I know that it's a fluid time, and then the roster changes are always available. And, you know, we've talked about it. Kirby Smart said depth chart is going to be fluid throughout the season. I think Daniel Harris, the way he plays in this game, will very, very much determine what that cornerback position looks like.
you love to see it. I think the X factor in this football game is Ryan Puglisi and the backups. And how quickly can you get them on the field?
Yep.
I don't mean to be disrespectful to the Thunder and Herd. I really don't. But we've talked about it. This football team this year, I think they're whether or not they know who they are, I think that has been hindered to start the season by the fact that they didn't handle business last year in these football games. All right. I don't know much about what the offensive line is going to look like. I don't know much about these young defensive backs. I don't know much because we didn't see them a ton last year. So go out, handle your business, and let's find out what Ryan Puglisi's got for you if and when Gunnar Stockton happens to get hurt. Let's go out and find out what the back end of this roster looks like. Let's go find out what the future at the star position looks like. We can't do any of these things if we don't go out and handle business as a football team.
Agreed.
What about your list that doesn't happen?
Lil Nut going for 2 plays, over 50 yards, 2 explosive touchdowns. Lil Nut, big explosive day on Saturday for Dwight Phillips. You heard it here first.
Damn, dude. Has a 40,
Big explosive for Lil Nut.
I literally had Dwight Phillips has a 40-plus yard touchdown as mine, unless it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but did you have Lil Nut?
Brother, you didn't have Lil Nut till 15 minutes ago.
You're right.
So
Debatable.
hey, yo. Did he?
Georgia finishes the game with 4 40-plus yard plays on Saturday.
I like that one,
unless
too.
it doesn't happen.
Is that including special teams?
No, this is just straight up offensive plays, run games, pass plays, all that stuff. Georgia finishes the game with 4 40-plus yard plays.
Hell yeah. You want to read the super chub?
No. You gotta give me your unless it doesn't happen.
I did. It was Dwight Phillips has a 40-plus yard touchdown.
Oh yeah. Same note on Lil
Same
Nut.
note. So yours is more bold, so I'll just ride with you on that one.
If both of them hit, is it Big Nut? Score predictions. I've got Georgia 49-7.
Ooh, I went 45-9.
Interesting.
I have it 38-10.
Ew.
38-10?
Not good enough.
Dude,
Not good enough.
I don't care.
Look,
Not good enough.
if Georgia doesn't reach 40 points as the fan base,
We riot.
Who cares what the fan base thinks?
If Georgia doesn't cover, we riot.
Very rarely does Georgia seem to cover in these football
I don't have Georgia covering either. I think
I'm going to tell you right now, if Georgia only wins this game by 28 points, our Discord's going to be on fire.
Okay. That's fine.
you could just.
What?
Discord was on fire when Missouri was about to upset you in 2022.
This is a big
You
fact.
beat Kent State by like 16 points that season
Remember that
as well.
Sanford game?
Yeah.
You beat Kent State. I believe the final score is 39-22.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting.
That was a slot fade game. She got done up by like 4 explosives.
That was the
Had a
lad
screen pass convert on 3rd and 18 in that football game.
That was the lad McConkey is having a rough few weeks.
Oh, yeah. Dropping a fumble on back-to-back plays.
Had a drop touchdown. Just
Yeah.
not a great. Also, the Brock Bowers 75-yard end
Plus,
around.
like, we've talked about it. This is this head coach's first football game at this program.
Yeah, you don't think Kirby's going to drag it?
I don't think so. I think
tremendous amount of respect.
Well, and I think that just based on how he talks about them, like he's very aware. Like this dude has so much on his plate right now. He's got so many new players. Like even trying to come up with a comparable game plan going into this matchup week 1, like it's a wonder if it even happens. Almost.
Ooh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for tonight. It's been a great one. One more shout out to our friends over at Lucy's. If you're needing for a spot for nicotine, Lucy Breakers is the place to be. Can't wait to announce even further more partnerships on this network moving forward through the season. It's going to be a big one. All right, it's going to be a great year on this network. The road to 100K will happen. We're going to get there. Appreciate you guys being here. I love you. We'll see you tomorrow.